Hey everybody, you are tuning in to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream pre-stream. You're here early, good job. Well, remember, if you need to find other places to watch the show, just go to CanaryCry.Party. Also, if you're new to the show, there's all sorts of resources just waiting for you there. Get connected via the Discord server. I just refreshed the invite link over there, so you can join the Discord server. Join CanaryCry.Community, which is our custom off Facebook, no algoed, social media network. There's all sorts of cool stuff over there at CanaryCry.Party. So go there and enjoy your time. Remember, you can get text messages. Maybe you're here now, you know what is happening, but imagine if you got no notification about us going live. How sad would you be? Well, you can get text message notifications I'm sending out right now. Just text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. Yeah, that's what it is. Do that. It's on the screen. Propaganda Rooster is loud and excited today, so it's promising to be, at least a loud show today. Other than that, remember, you can become a producer of the show, produce this episode. If you get any value out of it or the show in general, head on over to CanaryCry.support or CanaryCryRadio.com/support. All great ways to make sure that your independent media stays independent. All right, everybody, let's get going.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is May 13th. 2022. This is episode 484, and today, PETRITUALS. And signing on from off the grid, Razzle Dazzle, I'm your best buddy, Basil.
And my name is Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, aka the Cabana Boy, here to serve you a podcast that brings the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ. I always mess that up.
Christ.
I get too excited about it. Which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. As the world burns, we are here to report and laugh or cry. We'll see what happens.
Both, baby. It's an exciting time. That's right. We got a great show for you today. The sun is shining. The propaganda rooster is crowing. And if you're looking for a little hint as to what to expect, we are doing a deep dive into the food shortage and more specifically the baby formula shortage here at the top of the show. China has now, they've made a wonderful attempt at replacing all humans. You're going to enjoy that. We've got some Ukraine fact checks, a little story about the Kabbalah and what's going on there via world events. Of course, checking in with the money situation across the globe. And then after the first break, where we say goodbye to the YouTube audience, we'll be checking in with COVID, the vaccine. Again, money moving, baby. What are you supposed to do? I don't know. And then some space news at the end. You're going to love it. But Gonz, I think it's time we start out with our lead stories.
Yes, which has to do with food.
Now you are cooking.
Can I get 2 hamburgers?
Yes, sir.
With French fries?
Yes, sir.
What about an omelet?
Sure. Got a couple eggs.
I like food. Food is good. I like food. Food is good.
And you shall hear wars and rumors of wars.
And boom, boom, boom.
And a boom, boom, boom. Gonz, actually, in fact, this might be a good place to really lament today's news, Friday the 13th, which is officially Jen Psaki's last day as press secretary in the White House.
It's an interesting question. We'll circle back.
She'll circle back, though.
And as Yeah, she'll circle back. She's got, so we won't forget about you, Jen. But yes, as Peter Ducci from Fox News exclaimed on Twitter, it is the end of an era. But to celebrate that, we've got a clip here of Jen Psaki responding to a question from the podium regarding the baby food shortage.
The FDA also just issued a statement about importing formula from abroad. The FDA committed to providing additional information early next week that will facilitate importation to get more product on U.S. store shelves as soon as possible. The FDA.
Oops, sorry about that. Yeah, but that's the latest there, which is that
that's the latest.
We're going to import some baby food. Which
did you have the?
Yeah, no, I don't have the other one that you were, because I was looking for it and I couldn't find it. But
oh no!
Oh, did we need that as part of the big kickoff?
No, it was just a fun aspect of what we were dealing with.
Yeah.
But previously, Jen Psaki had been asked, "What's the deal with the baby food shortage? Come on now, White House, come on, help us out." And she said, if you're having trouble with baby food, go ahead and talk to your pediatrician. Not our problem.
Yeah, get some samples.
Yeah. Suddenly the volume that I'm getting from you and the entire show is incredibly low, Gonzo. Is that something you can boost over to my end here? Am I on my own here?
You might be on your own. I don't know. Let me see here.
Okay.
According to the meters, I'm just as loud as I normally am. So,
okay.
All right, you're moving around. Okay.
Yep. Turning up. Doing it the old-fashioned way. Old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, by the way,
there we go.
I have a 1.5-year-old, and in the last 6 months, I've seen the shelves dry up completely of any kind of baby formula. Had to switch a couple different stores, and even then, all the people there are like, "We're ordering him, but they're just not showing up." So, but luckily, blessingly, he's entering the age where we're not so reliant on just baby food or mommy milk. So,
or formula.
It's not as
timing,
pregnant, but still
good timing wild. There, Gonzo. So this has been gaining more attention recently over the past couple weeks. Stories have been floating around, being published, articles getting a lot more attention. And we've been watching it because, as we know, the food shortage was more or less has been planned for a while, has been known about, has been commented on from the White House. And, it's been, the general idea has been, hey, deal with it, prepare for it. It's been fun getting, prepper advice from the president.
Right. This was
from the White House podium.
Just as a reminder, when he visited NATO headquarters, this is back in March. He said this about the food shortage.
Both talked about how we could increase and disseminate more rapidly food shortages. And in addition to that, we talked about...
Yeah, he's going to disseminate food shortage. He told us, So
yeah, we got it more rapidly, too. We need to run out of food faster.
And the thing we didn't know was the babies are going to be targeted first.
Well, now here's the thing. We may not have known it, Gonz, but somebody did.
Someone always does.
Somebody always knows what's going on. So let's bring our first article here. I know it's taken a second for us to get to it, but this is coming from Politico. And this article was posted in April. So this was late last month. And there's a few things I found surprising about it, and we'll jump into it now. The article is titled... or the headline rather, Whistleblower warned FDA about formula plant months before baby deaths. Yikers. A former employee at Abbott Nutrition's Sturgis, Michigan infant formula plant flagged concerns about food safety violations directly with senior FDA officials in October. Months before 2 infants died and another was hospitalized from bacterial infections after investigating formula made at the plant. Ingesting formula made at the plant, according to a document reviewed by Politico. In a 34-page document sent to officials.
That cover page messed it up, man, and we wanted the 33, but,
So close.
Table of contents.
So close. A 34-page document sent to officials October 19th and 20th, the whistleblower outlined allegations of lax cleaning practices, purposefully falsified records and efforts by plant officials to keep FDA from learning about serious issues related to the plant's own system for checking for bacteria in formula, among other things. The warning came weeks after health officials in Minnesota had already reported to both FDA and CDC that an infant in the state had been hospitalized for Chronobacter sakazaki, a rare but deadly bacteria, after consuming formula from the same plant.
Wow, that sounds like an ancient god or something. Chronobacter sakazaki.
Sakazaki, yeah. It's I don't know. This is not any analysis or anything, but when I first read it, I was like, Chronobat, weird. That kind of has like a coronavirus kind of vibe to it. Sakazaki sounds like Saki, like Jen Psaki. I don't know. It's just weird. Hard copies of the disclosure were sent via FedEx to senior food safety officials and other leaders at FDA. I think this is an interesting detail. It was sent via FedEx, like hard copy printouts.
Isn't that
of
for
the
legal?
whistleblowing.
Yeah, that's for like legal purposes too, right?
There's a couple different reasons for that. One of them being, you can get like a timestamp through the mail system. Yeah, but it's also weird because if you send emails, then that would also have its own timestamping. So I'm not exactly sure, but it is strange though that they don't mention emails being sent. It was strictly hard copies through FedEx. They included this could have to do with official whistleblower protocols. Because there are laws around whistleblowing.
You can't just send an email up.
Yeah, and they're meant to make it difficult. They're meant to make whistleblowing difficult. So that's probably what the FedEx is about. They included FDA's top official, then acting commissioner Janet Woodcock, Susan Main, director of the Center for Food Safety and Applied Nutrition Judy McMeekin, associate commissioner for regulatory.
He froze.
Agency's Office of Criminal Investigations. So it was like half a dozen copies went out. In addition to the serious questions raised about Abbott Nutrition's food safety practices, revelations of an early whistleblower warning reinforced concerns about leadership and decision-making on food issues at the agency. This was back in October. There's also reports from whistleblowing back in September. So it sounds like this was a sort of longer process. Yeah. And Abbott, you're right. It was just you thought correctly, dear listener. This is Abbott, as in Abbott Laboratories, the coronavirus testing company. Also, the company whose what was it? It's like a antidepressant medication was found useful against coronavirus. Abbott is a big player in a lot of things, including baby formula. Now I'm going to skip down. I've got some interesting parts. It's a long article, so I highlighted the important bits. And it goes like this. The company maintains it is not the source of the infections. Weird. Okay. A thorough review of all, this is a quote, of all available data indicates that the infant formula produced at our Sturgis facility is not likely the source of infection in the reported cases, and that there was not an outbreak caused by products from the facility, the spokesperson said. So that's Abbott's response to this whole thing. Even though on February 17th, they filed with the FDA a voluntary recall. So they say, we did the testing, it's not us, but we're going to voluntary recall anyways. The article goes on. Serious questions have already been raised about the government's handling of the investigation into the Abbott formula plant and the Chronobacter sakazaki case. As Politico first reported, FDA was told of the first infant Chronobacter case in Minnesota on September 20th. The next day, the agency said it contacted Abbott Nutrition because the infant had reportedly consumed formula made by the company. Coincidentally, Gonz, it says, that very same week in September, FDA conducted a routine inspection of the plant and found it had some sanitation problems, but nothing so serious as to warrant regulatory action. It's not clear whether inspectors were told about the hospitalized infant. The agency has declined to answer specific questions about that inspection, which happened after a 2-year break. FDA usually inspects formula plants at least once a year, but routine food safety inspections were temporarily suspended during the pandemic. So this plant had not been inspected for 2 years because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And it just happened to inspect it like this week that an infant died.
Yeah.
So, came to their attention that they should probably do something. Any questions so far?
I think it's pretty straightforward that this Politico article is describing a cover-up of sorts.
Oh, you don't even know. It's beautiful. So referring to the whistleblower document, in the document, the former employee said he was fired after repeatedly raising food safety compliance concerns. The termination is being investigated by OSHA under a whistleblower complaint provision in the Food Safety Modernization Act, according to the document. So the whistleblower who had been complaining or bringing to the attention to the factory management that, hey, this is not okay. We're going to kill some babies if we don't get this under control, was fired for complaining about it. So that's cool. Abbott Labs.
Hey, I can relate to that person there.
Mm-hmm.
And getting fired.
You're always getting threatened to be fired if you keep complaining about my internet connection or something. Skip down a little bit.
I have compliance concerns, Basil. Your compliance is lacking at times. I just, I might need to go blow some whistles.
The article goes on for a bit about more just kind of like employment and how bad it was at the factory. Mm-hmm. And then it goes back to the document. The document alleges that plant officials knowingly falsified records on a number of occasions. Most often, it was a practice of leaving off key information from compliance records. The plant continued to rely in part on paper records, which made it more difficult for them to be reviewed. Other allegations raised questions about overall food safety culture of the plant. The document notes that the Sturgis plant had ongoing problems with ensuring that its powdered formula cans were fully sealed. Essentially, powder would get into the can seams, quote, thereby jeopardizing the integrity of the seal and product safety, according to the document. Instead of addressing the problem head on, there were instances in which employees altered the plant's testing process so that empty cans were tested instead of the sealed cans containing the product. They were testing empty cans to make sure that, the food it contained within the cans was safe. So I guess...
That doesn't... I don't... Speed... What? That doesn't make any sense.
It's almost like the criminal activity of Abbott Laboratories led to the deaths of children, which then subsequently led to a 43% inventory decrease of baby formula.
So this little incident here is responsible for millions of babies across this country, or moms anyway, unable to find baby formula for their little babies.
Oh, it's just the beginning.
Oh, my goodness.
The former employee indicated that this questionable practice was never disclosed or referenced in records that came to his attention. He has reason to believe that the questionable practice has not ceased and, as well, has not been disclosed to FDA officials, the document said. In 2019... a batch of the plant's infant formula tested positive for quote-unquote micros, according to the document. It doesn't specify which bacteria was found, but formula is routinely tested for salmonella and chronobacter. Plant officials decided that instead of destroying the entire batch, they would destroy the most suspect part of the batch and then release the rest of it into the market without conducting additional testing to ensure it wasn't contaminated. And this is a quote,
Wow.
"The infant formula was released commercially without supporting documentation to suggest it was compliant or safe for consumption." So this has been a regular practice of this factory of Abbott Laboratories, or Abbott Nutrition rather, for at least since 2019. Let's see here. Now, it talks about, after this whistleblower complaint was mailed into the FDA, in the weeks that followed, more babies fell ill with serious Chronobacter infections. FDA received 3 more complaints between November and January, including 2 cases where infants died. A salmonella case was initially included in the investigation, but has since been dropped due to insufficient evidence linking it to the plant. FDA officials interviewed the whistleblower sometime in December, DeLauro said Thursday. Quote, "FDA initiated a weeks-long inspection in response to the Chronobacter complaints." So the whistleblower came in October. FDA did nothing until January 31st. Which is when they inspected the plant. Inspectors ultimately uncovered serious food safety issues and found 5 strains of Chronobacter in the plant, though none of the strains matched the 2 samples of the bacteria and underwent genetic sequencing in cases where infants were hospitalized, a fact that has undoubtedly complicated the investigation.
Do you mean there's more strains out there, maybe?
There's more strains.
They've only been
more strains
developing for 2 years in a laboratory, unchecked by anybody, not audited.
Yeah.
Wow.
So long story short,
this is like an X-Men plot. The mutations start to occur. You put it in babies. You got a whole population of mutants.
Well, I think it's a very interesting connection to what we saw with certain labs in China that had safety concerns for years that went unaddressed.
There's a parallel here, and you had mentioned prior to the show, which seems to be thematic in today's episode, sort of a petri dish of the COVID situation in a smaller,
diseases,
isolated
things being left alone in order to grow, and not just in sort of a germ sense, but also in like the germ of not regulating dangerous situations, even though they've been known about for years. Of course, the Wuhan lab was notoriously, lax in its safety.
Well,
it had reported safety concerns over the years. And this Abbott nutrition factory had also had reported safety concerns for years, and they just let it go until something horrible happens. So there's kind of the background. This has been happening for a long, long time now. So they've known about the issue since at least 2019. Did nothing to fix it. And after 2019, going 2 years without inspections just made it even worse. There was talk, in this same Politico article, they talk about how during the FDA investigation, or the audit rather, it describes the managers of the plant sort of like biting their fingernails and like trying to guide the auditor around so he doesn't find the things.
This just all the corruption at that scale, at that level. It's very interesting because this also touches on the abortion topic. It's like if they reverse Roe v. Wade, and
it's got connections. I don't know what it is, but there's something right now where children and babies are
baby
like
target. Being
what is a better
front.
way to distract from something else than making the children and the babies like the top concern? You've got the abortion issue, you've got the hepatitis pandemic in children, and now you've got the baby food formula thing. They are rolling out the baby distraction program to its most extreme conclusions. Now, Abbott Nutrition has known that this plant is dangerous since at least 2019, and the FDA also has known. Nobody did anything about it.
Yeah.
Even after the whistleblower put out their whistleblowing document in October, I found this fun little detail. When Abbott should be spending money to fix their plant so they don't kill babies. Well, if you go over to marketscreener.com, this was posted on December 10th of 2021, 2 months after the whistleblowing. Abbott Laboratories announces an equity buyback for 5,000 million. I don't know why they wrote it this way. 5,000 million worth of its shares, which is 5 billion.
5 billion.
So in a moment,
I've seen that a lot. I feel like that's an SEO decision to try to not get the attention of the people targeting billion-dollar deals and stuff.
Right. So 2 months. Well, first of all, 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years into the whole thing. 2 months after the whistleblower went official.
When Abbott should have been spending money to fix their formula plant so babies don't die. No. They didn't spend money on that. They spent money on stock buybacks to increase their stock price.
It's about the shareholders, man. It's not about the babies.
It's not about the babies. It's all about the shareholders.
You can't have good babies unless you have happy shareholders first.
It is truly a sick and disturbing thing that has been developing for over 2 years now. When you compare it, when you connect these dots to all the other dots going on in the world right now, you've got the children's hepatitis issue, you've got the abortion battle, you've got the
vaccine issue too.
The vaccine issue,
Under 5, yeah, the whole deal.
Yeah. You've also got the food processing plants burning down or exploding across the country. You've got the president of the United States warning about food shortages. It all is coming together. But Gonz, don't be a crazy prepper, okay?
Well, I was going to say, this is an opportunity for all the people who have said that, this is going to happen to this country. I mean, people should be well prepared, right?
Yeah, you should, but not according to the New York Times.
Okay.
So we've got this article from the New York Times titled, "Why Doctors Don't Recommend Homemade Baby Formula." Now, there may not be any baby formula in the stores, and there may not be any way for you to feed your child if you're unable to produce breast milk or anything like that. But don't you dare think that you can feed your child without Abbott Labs. By the way, Abbott Nutrition, which is, it's mentioned in this Politico article. I'll just read it at the end here. Let's see here. DeLauro on Thursday also urged USDA to look into the incident because Abbott Nutrition's Similac brand formula, the top brand in the U.S., is one of the major suppliers to USDA's Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children, known as WIC, which provides formula for millions of low-income parents and caregivers. Quote, "I strongly encourage you to investigate USDA's contracts with Abbott Nutrition," DeLauro said. At Thursday's committee hearing with Agricultural Secretary Tom Vilsack, quote, "If Abbott cannot guarantee the safety of formula purchased through the WIC program, the federal government should not be in business with them." So this specific brand of baby formula is the baby formula that is provided by the government to the WIC program, which is like, it's like a Social Security type program.
Food stamps for babies.
Food stamps for babies is kind of what it is. And so, you've got this other issue connected to it, which is dependence on the government. You've got this population of low-income people who are dependent on the government.
Yeah, hook 'em as young as possible, man. That's
the government.
That's the agenda here.
When the government is unable to deliver on the dependence of these children, you go ahead and have articles like this. Why doctors don't recommend homemade baby formula. So let your children starve. Don't worry about feeding them. With the United States in the midst of a baby formula shortage, parents across the country are increasingly worried about how they will feed their children. Some are rationing food or driving to stores hours away only to find empty shelves. Others are heading online to look up homemade baby formula recipes that use anything from powdered goat's milk to raw cow's milk. But pediatricians warn that do-it-yourself baby formulas carry significant health risks. Quote, homemade formula is dangerous for babies, said Dr. Katie Lockwood. Well, apparently the government-provided Abbott nutrition formula is also dangerous for babies, New York Times. An attending physician at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia.
But they're giving us money to advertise on our platform, so no, it's not dangerous. It's what you do in your own home that is dangerous.
The propaganda rooster is screaming right now.
Yeah, this whole article, this whole time, actually, he's been very
I know.
opinionated.
He doesn't like it.
Yeah,
he doesn't like when we actually look at the facts
It's
here.
funny how he's become the meter at which we measure the level of propaganda, is how much he is making noise.
Listen to this. Listen to this in the context of what we just read. Quote, regular formula is FDA regulated and held to very high standards. The same way we treat medications. Making it at home is a lot riskier. Apparently, it's not FDA regulated. Apparently, they don't look at the factory for 2 years. And then when a whistleblower tells the FDA that there's dangerous baby-killing bacteria in a factory, the FDA takes their sweet time, 3 or 4 months, to even address the situation after 6 hard copy whistleblowing packages shows up at their office. No. We are not going to rely on regular formula. FDA regulated. Thank you very much. Commercial infant formulas are designed to mimic human breast milk as closely as possible and are carefully regulated to make sure they have the nutrients growing babies need in a form their bodies can process. Seems like there's a little something extra in there, New York Times. And it goes on, just says, nah, you can't do it. You can't make baby formula that's adequate for your baby.
What was happening for thousands of years before Abbott Labs came around? It's as if Abbott Labs has become, they're propping themselves up to be the bastion of baby formula. We are the provider. Listen to us.
It is also government corruption. Yeah. Remember, this is Abbott Labs, the ones that made the coronavirus testing kits. Remember when Biden says, I'm making at-home testing kits available to everybody, and it took like 3 months for that to happen? That was Abbott. So that wasn't great. Listen to this. So if you make your own baby formula, such formulas can also contain excess of minerals and nutrients.
To make them strong and able to rebel against the tyranny that is upon us. Keep him weak.
Too many nutrients for your baby, right?
Oh my gosh. What are we supposed to... Okay, so there's all this... I get it. What are we supposed to do about it?
Yeah, I want your question. I also want to tell you... Let me read a couple more fun quotes from this article. Contamination is another concern. Parents making formula at home may also unwittingly introduce bacteria or other germs that can be especially dangerous for babies.
Sponsored propaganda machinery.
Come on. I mean... this is comparing Politico and New York Times, and just the cognitive dissonance is palpable, unbelievable,
it's incredible.
How do you write this? I mean, you must be. These people either have to put their conscience on a shelf or something before they walk into the office and write these things. I have no idea, but man, but it is truly an example of the power of the elite.
Oh, it's just nonsense. It's just complete nonsense. And besides the risk of giving your baby too many nutrients or bacteria that of course wouldn't show up in FDA regulated baby food, you can give your baby too much water. Did you know this? If you make your own baby formula, you might give your baby too much water. That can cause a condition known as water intoxication, which can lead to dangerous complications like seizures in young babies. Oh, you stupid parents out there trying to feed your baby. You're just going to give your baby too much water. Oh, you're going to kill your baby with water. Now, I've actually been water intoxicated. Sure. I don't know if... It's been a while. I've talked about it on the show before, but I had got really into the whole like drinking tons and tons of water in college, and I would down a couple of 2-liter bottles all at once, and you basically just get drunk on water. Yeah. I'm not saying that babies should get drunk on water. I'm just saying you have to drink so much water really fast for water intoxication to happen. So anyways, there you go, folks. Be dependent on the government.
You can't leave me hanging like this. What is a parent supposed to do instead? I mean, we can't make our own. There's none on the shelves. What are we supposed to do?
Oh,
it says here. You want me to read it? Because there's a part that I think
read it.
It's what can parents do instead? The first call any parent or caregiver struggling to track down baby formula should make is to their child's pediatrician. It's lining up with what Jen Psaki told us, right? Mm-hmm. They may have formula samples on hand or be able to connect you with local charities or breast milk banks that can help. Now, first of all, if there is a shortage, I guarantee that they do not have samples on hand. And even if they did, thanks. It's a little sample. It'll give him one or two. You
get a meal or two.
Yeah, it's not going to sustain. What, are you going to come back every day or every other day to the doctor's office to get samples?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you must be dependent on the medical industrial complex. Wow, yes, that is the pro tip from New York Times. If you can't find baby formula, ask your doctor. They can give you samples. And on top of that, they say, or go to a charity. Oh, yeah. You don't think people thought about that? You don't think that charities are also... You have the government of the United States of America who wants to take responsible for feeding your child, and after they fail exclusively on their shoulders, they fail to detect a 2-year threat lingering. Now they're telling you to go to a charity and get some baby food. Not our problem. Cool. We have a really cool government, don't we? So there you go.
Right,
Just go ask your doctor, folks.
If the producers don't come in, I'm going to be a baby formula slinger. I'll buy
black market baby formula.
I'll buy a bunch
slinger.
of baby formula, and I'll post them on the Onion router, and I'll sell.
Well, what's funny is that has been a thing up until the announcement we played just at the beginning, which was a big update.
Right.
There was mommy groups on Facebook. They were slinging breast milk. They were, trading. They were bartering for breast milk. They were trying to. They were finding ways to, up until just today, obtain illegal European. Baby formula.
The announcement today. The announcement today was, okay, you guys are already doing it. All right, well, we're going to say we're going to do it now to make it not illegal. Otherwise, we have to arrest a bunch of people, arrest a bunch of moms.
Exactly. We're not going to. We're not going to criminalize mothers trying to feed their children. Which, honestly, at this point, I would not be surprised. I'm not surprised if they actually went ahead and did.
Thank you, U.S. government, for not going there yet. Appreciate it.
Yet.
Praise the Lord.
And again, not that European, baby food is subpar or anything. In fact, in a lot of ways, it's better. Obviously, it's not chock-a-block full of deadly bacteria, but it's only illegal because of the exclusivity contract that Abbott Labs has with the government. So it's Abbott Nutrition's fault that European baby food is illegal in the first place. And only when they kill a couple babies and completely destroy the inventory of our country do they just suddenly allow people to import from Europe.
43% down in supply. That's a big deal. And I have experienced it firsthand, and it's wild. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. That's 43%. You can think of it as 43% of meals eaten by children are just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
by babies.
Crazy. Right. That is absolutely insane. But here we are. And
So there's all the fun details, folks, and we'll be keeping an eye on it. It's just remember, it's not Biden's fault. Okay, he's trying the best that he can.
It's Putin's fault.
It's Putin. Putin's killing Putin. I can't believe Putin got that bacteria into our factory.
Putin's killing babies, man.
It's Friday, It's Friday, It's Friday. It's Friday,
Yeah, no, I understand. Well, there you go. We can keep playing with the Friday thing. That's right.
Cause it's Friday. You ain't got no job. And you ain't got It's Friday. It's Friday.
Yeah, it is. It is Friday, Gonz. Can you even believe it? I had an interesting thing happen today.
You did.
Yes. Now that I'm on the off-grid life, as I revealed last episode, and one of the more difficult parts of what I've been doing is I'm entirely on solar, which more or less has worked fine. Have not really had a big problem with it, except for, of course, when it's cloudy or whatever. I got to pop on the generator once in a while. I have not had my house batteries above 30% full for maybe a whole month, which has been fine. I haven't gone without, but it is a little bit nerve wracking when that's
not much headroom there.
When you're kind of, I get under 10% as the day goes on. And I'm like, really wish the sun was shining. But this today, it is a nice sunny day. And before we started the show, I went out and checked my batteries. I'm up to 98%. I've never seen my batteries hit 98%. The sun is shining. The solar flares are raging. I don't know how in the world my batteries are so full, but I think something's happening in space.
And maybe the aliens, or maybe it's the cube that shot out of the sun right before NASA cut the feed.
I think it's the cube. I think it's the black cube.
Yeah. Well, meanwhile, over in my neck of the woods over here,
KCAL 9's Leslie Marin is live tonight in the devastated neighborhood. And Leslie, where are you exactly?
Full face mask.
Susie, we are on Vista Court. This is a court made up of 3 homes, 2 of them destroyed, and you can see all this water coming down. That is the water that firefighters are using just to mop up the homes.
24 homes destroyed. And
is this in your neighborhood?
Not in my neighborhood, no. This is actually, it's very interesting because I have a photo here for those of you watching from my little neighborhood, which is, kind of like a condo complex type of thing. You can see the fire very close. I mean, it's just
really. I mean, see it over from your space. There.
Yeah, very much so. And what's hilarious? I mean, it's not hilarious that these houses burned down. I don't think anybody got hurt, but they were like $10 million houses. So a lot of people in my neighborhood were like
super rich area,
not feeling too bad for that, for those folks.
Yeah. Not a lot of pity.
Not a lot of pity and
floating around.
Not, there's always like a, what was the motive behind this? Or at least like, what happened? There's probably some collateral damage.
Has there been an investigation? I
haven't heard anything. Haven't seen anything.
It's going to be
reported.
A fun day at the fire insurance company.
I mean, and
they're going to be paying out like $1 billion in that neighborhood.
I'm just connecting dots and speculating, but it was also on the same day that Terra Luna's whole thing collapsed. So my thesis is some rich guy had all his money in Terra Luna. It crashed in one day, and he's like, "It's over," and set his house ablaze. His $10 million home
cashing
ablaze.
Cashing in on the
insurance policy there. Yeah,
on the insurance. Yeah,
but we're fine over here, and back into our little corridors. Says we have ruins in Orange County.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Stay safe out there, everybody.
Yep.
And don't. Hey, look, it's okay. Crypto's just crypto. You don't got to set anything on fire.
Just money, man.
Yeah.
Not even real money.
As everybody here knows, we're on the value for value model. No advertisements, affiliate codes, no corporate money whatsoever. And which means we are entirely independent media, even independent from the corporate money, which means we're independent from the corporate incentives. And so if you get any value out of what we do, you can put value back in. Perhaps have you heard all the details that I just gave you about the deep dive in the baby food research there? Did you know that Abbott happened to do a stock buyback just months after learning that they're going to kill some babies? Did you know these things? I don't know. Maybe you did. I didn't know it until I did. And if that brings you value, you are invited to support the show and put some value back in. It's the only way that we keep this show going. And that's why we like to thank our executive producers here at the top of the show.
Executive producers.
That's right. Our executive producers are people that they have gotten so much value over their time experiencing the show that they come in and help carry the load to keep the show going. And we've got as of now, one executive producer, Gonz.
All right.
And that is executive producer Billy.
Billy! Is that Billy Gates?
Billy!
Is he here?
Billy, are you here, Billy?
We've been waiting for you, Mr. Billy Gates.
Billy.
We shall rename you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Billy, for becoming our executive producer.
Thank you, Billy.
Gonzo.
I'm saying thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you, Billy. Executive producing the show. And there's still time if anybody would like to produce this show. Getting value out of this show means, hey, you should feel responsible for keeping the show going. And I don't mean that in any sort of, weird negative way. I mean that in a positive way. Because if you're getting value out of the show, putting value back in is a wonderful way to take control of the future of independent media instead of just letting advertisers decide who's putting out the information that they find valuable. If you want to do that, you can head on over to CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Oh,
I
jeez.
was not ready.
The Russians.
CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
That's right. And with that, Gonz, it's time to check in on Flippy.
Oh, hold on. Billy. Thank you, Billy.
Where'd you find this?
All right, now we can do
thank
Flippy.
you, Billy. Okay.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right. The Flippy update is when we talk about Flippy, who is the colloquial name we have for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today, the Flippy update is coming from AsiaOne.com. AsiaOne.com. The headline: an army of robots and 0 human workers will build a dam in China. Man, can you hear the propaganda rooster? He is popping off right now.
Man, he really doesn't like China.
Yeah, I need to go give that guy a distraction or something. China is using artificial intelligence, AI, to effectively turn a dam project on the Tibetan Plateau into the world's largest 3D printer, according to scientists involved in the project. The 180-meter, that's 590 feet, high Yangzhou hydropower plant will be built slice by slice using unmanned excavators, trucks, bulldozers, pavers, and rollers, all controlled by AI in the same additive manufacturing process used in 3D printing. When completed in 2024, the Yangzhou Dam will send nearly 5 billion kilowatt hours of electricity each year from the upper reaches of the Yellow River to Henan, the cradle of Chinese civilization.
Yeah, I was going to say, the Yellow River, there's a lot of, ancient Chinese mythology. There's a lot of the gods coming down and teaching the Chinese, civilized life, and the Yellow River of Henan, or to Henan, has a lot of a lot to do with that. So apropos place there to start the robot revolution.
Yeah, right. The sort of cradle of civilization in the East there is also the cradle of the
robot army.
Complete dependence on 100% robot sort of construction to build civilization. And that's more or less it. They talk a lot about the power and how the electricity is going to help people, and China's the best and things like that.
China's the best.
Yeah. But it's just so interesting. I mean, this is a huge project. I mean, building these hydroelectric power plants / dams are already enormous undertakings for, a country to take. And now, the whole thing is going to be done 100% by AI and unmanned robots doing the tasks. And, I don't fully, I can only talk about it in sort of the context of the sort of my experience with the American economy. But if can you imagine the uproar that would take place in America if the government was, basically erased thousands of blue collar skilled workers to build a dam and deliver electricity, and said, nope, we don't need any of you anymore. It's all robots. I don't think it would happen. I think it would be just politically impossible.
That would start the robot versus human war. It would start right in American soil. You'd have an uprising of people on motorcycles and trucks, trying
you would have thousands of blue collar workers who would have been employed, especially in this time of economic issues in America. It would immediately start a war between like 5,000 construction workers and 5,000 robots, all battling one another. And they kind of give the same technocratic excuses. Let's see here. But where the machines shine is their ability to work in a life-threatening environment without getting headaches from a lack of oxygen or exhausted after working continuously for 24 hours, according to researchers. So, we're saving lives. We're saving healthcare dollars. It's really better for the humans if we just let the robots do all the work.
I like this part here. After slicing a computer model of the dam into layers, the AI at the heart of the project would assign a team of robots to add one layer at a time, the paper said. So, I mean, even the whole process is like AI generated. The AI assigns which robots to go where, and I mean, this is like you can't. The human layer is
There's barely even the knowledge workers.
I mean, is this just G in like a VR headset, Neuralink, looking at all the data and deciding what kind of thing to build and then letting the AI deploy it? I mean, but
it's just an AI.
Unmanned excavators will be able to identify and load materials from a stockpile yard into a fleet of automated trucks, some powered by electricity. And it goes into more detail there, but
it's basically a big 3D printing. It's like a method, like the method of 3D printing, which is they just lay it slice by slice and build it all the way up. But that's that's all algorithmically generated and controlled. It's that's the future, baby. Yeah. Humans, who needs them?
Who needs humans?
And that's your Flippy update for the day, everybody.
I'll tell you I'll tell you who needs humans is people who like to party. You go to CanaryCry.Party.
Party time.
Find the live stream, clips, email list, text notifications, street team posters, show notes, ways to connect with other Canarians, and become a producer of the show.
Yeah, go check it out. CanaryCry.Party. It's got all sorts of fun things for you there, including a link to subscribe or listen to Ravel, which is a podcast I do with Dr. Christopher Ryan Gates. We've done it. We just took some time to interview a metaverse pastor. He's the VR campus pastor. And we really kind of just lay it all out, man. I have a chance to speak my mind, and yet, I don't know. It was a very unexpected conversation we had with the VR campus pastor at a church, and you can learn all about it on the next episode of Ravel, which will drop on Sunday. So if you haven't done it yet, go find Ravel on any podcast player that you got there. Subscribe. Remember, there's 2 Ravel podcasts. The other one explicitly stole our name, but you can find the one with the cool logo and my name on it. Go subscribe. And while you're at it, go subscribe to Canary Cry Clips channel. I believe that the Canary Cry Clips channel has completely caught up. It's just, they are cranking out these clips of the show, and they are so valuable. Going back, revisiting different segments. You know, if maybe you watched the live, maybe you missed the live, whatever the case may be. If you want to go back, revisit any of the stories that we talk about, you should go subscribe to Canary Cry Clips on YouTube and or Odyssey. Go do it now. And while you're at it,
going through that real quick, that list of videos, man, we have covered a lot of things. a lot of things.
The amount of content on that Clips channel is completely mind-boggling, considering its young age as well. I mean, the amount of videos is enormous. There's so many great recaps, and these are shorter, more digestible clips of the show. Great way to share the show with people, or just go back and do, repeat the research that you did while sitting here listening to the whole show. It's just a great opportunity to also share it with your friends and family or on social media without asking them to watch like an incredibly long live stream of ours. So go do it. Yep. And you can also sign up for our text message alerts. Just text Canary to the phone number 877-740-3226, and I'll send you a text message 3 times a week. Boom.
Boom, 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 boom.
Boom.
Fight Ukraine, New World Order.
We're going to start off with a fact check from Reuters, because, Reuters is the bastion of truth.
Do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the headline of this article from Reuters: fact check 2016 photo of Klaus Schwab and Bono, miscaptioned as if related to Ukraine war.
Oh, why do we care?
Now,
about this?
the typical pattern, hopefully listeners, longtime listeners of the show know the tactic, which is to create a straw man. Very simple. Mm-hmm. These mainstream outlets, they're becoming lazier with this as well. I mean, it used to be a little more sophisticated. It's become very lazy. You'll see what I mean. It says here, Klaus Schwab, founder of the World Economic Forum, did not meet U2 front man and an Illuminati lizard shill Bono in Ukraine in May 2022, contrary to claims made online. Claims made online. Do you know how many claims are made online every single day? I mean, pick your poison, Reuters.
It's a pretty vague.
An image circulated on social media to make this allegation traces back to 2016, and it was captured in Davos, Switzerland. Now, I have a screenshot of the Facebook post. It says, U2, U2 like the band, Bono's band, will own nothing and be happy. I guess Klaus Schwab got VIP in that custom-made concert bomb shelter in Ukraine, and, a couple emojis or whatever. And there's that photo of Klaus walking with Bono. You can tell it's a few years old. But look, 502 shares, that's a decent amount. 57 comments, 198 likes or reactions or whatever. Okay.
It seems like surprisingly low engagement to
bust out a whole
to
Reuters
warrant
fact
a
check.
Reuters article.
That's what I'm saying. It was this really the the concern,
the most important thing for them to fact check. Yeah.
But in the tone of this post, it's something that we would post, like just kind of a sarcastic, like, oh, I guess Klaus Schwab and Bono,
right?
And I mean, we can easily be picked up in one of these Reuters type of things, like, oh, on Twitter or whatever, social media, these people, these conspiracy theorists. So I thought it was very interesting that they would even go there.
Okay.
Other users are sharing TikTok clips or a screenshot of it that displays the old photograph alongside an overlaid text that reads, "Why was Klaus Schwab in Ukraine at the U2 concert?" It's like, all right, okay. But here's something to consider. Why is all this Bono attention going on? Well, NPR.org, U2's Bono and The Edge, was U2's guitar player, held a concert in Kyiv's subway station in support of Ukraine. And to your point, Basil, about the U.S. buying Ukraine, we own you. You are indebted to us now. Part of the festivities maybe is to, hey, we're going to get Bono. We're going to get into a little bomb shelter and
celebration
concert with our very own Illuminati lizard shill. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's old photos of Bono with the one eye covered. And it's no secret that Bono's...
he's always getting involved in these things. That's his thing.
It's his thing. I know.
He shows up and puts on a little ritual, and then boom, the lizard people's plans are sealed.
And if this is too fringy for your sort of normie friends out there, if you're listening, here's the World Economic Forum website. Bono, co-founder.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
So real quick, I mean, the spirit of what Reuters is trying to say here, Klaus did not meet with Bono.
Right.
The spirit is like,
there's no association.
Bono is not like part of this global effort to, solidify the world leaders and signal some kind of
penetrate governments,
allegiance, penetrate governments or cabinets around the world. No, Klaus and Bono have nothing to do with each other. Oh, wait. Okay. But you two did put on a concert in a bomb shelter. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's nothing. I mean, there's still no connection. He just happened to be in the area, and
just coming through. And Edge had his guitar, and we thought, hey, Ukraine's in trouble. Let's do a little show for peace.
But they leave out some of the context, which you'll give us now,
right? Which is the World Economic Forum website, their own little bio on Bono. Bono has his own little page here. And it says here, the singer of Irish rock band U2, Bono was born Paul David Hewson in Dublin, acknowledged as one of the best live acts in the world. U2 has sold over 170 million albums and won 22 Grammys. Also a well-known activist and co-founder of One and Red. One's nearly 10 million members pressure governments to take action. We'll penetrate governments to fight extreme poverty. Red works with businesses to raise cash and heat. Raise cash and heat.
Raise the heat, baby.
For the AIDS fight. It has delivered over $600 million to the Global Fund. Co-founder of the Rise Fund, a global social impact fund investing in 7 sectors aligned with the UN Sustainable Development Goals.
So they're buddies.
Yeah, they're just, they're right.
They're buddies.
Hey, pressure governments. You mean penetrate governments? Yeah, we'll do that. That's what my organization, One, will do. We are one.
So when Reuters is trying to make the implication that Bono and Klaus have no association with one another, the very World Economic Forum website, exclaims their union, their alliedship, their limitless friendship.
Right. They have to go to the same way. They have to go to a small viral social media post on Facebook to make the point that there is no association.
And at the same time, if you jump on over here to the World Economic Forum Twitter account, they did tweet out as well this morning at 5:01 a.m.
Oh, nice and early.
the president of Ukraine at Zelensky, EUA, whatever, will join our annual meeting virtually as the war continues to devastate his country. Watch his special address on our website and across social media. So you've got Bono and Klaus Schwab, Bono heading over, doing a concert in the bunker. You got Zelensky speaking at the World Economic Forum. Maybe it was like a talent trade, like, hey, Klaus, can you get your buddy Bono to come put on a bomb shelter concert, and I'll speak at your World Economic Forum. It's synergy, baby. It's synergy. Let's do this.
Yeah, it's very interesting. This horrible war that continues to go on, but they got time to zoom in and play concerts. Also,
also Zelensky keeps doing these virtual, speeches or whatever.
Is he already on Mars? What's going on? How come he doesn't?
Apparently it's safe enough for Bono and Nancy Pelosi and all these people to visit Ukraine, and yet Zelensky's not going anywhere.
Zelensky did
baby.
Show up with when what's her name was over there?
Pelosi.
Pelosi, yeah. They were
I mean, he comes out of his hole to say hello, but he doesn't leave the country. I guess that's kind of the thing. Yeah. It's his heroic duty to stay in the country. Speaking of which, I'll just mention this real quick. There's not a whole lot to it, but this is not being covered by pretty much any U.S. media that we would consider mainstream. But I'm taking this from uawire.org, which is, I'm only doing this because I cannot read Ukrainian. They do have the link to
Come on, googly eyes, get it together.
Yeah, Ukrainska Pravda, which is the original Ukrainian outlet that reported this. And it says here, Ukrainian media, Johnson, that's Boris Johnson, tells Zelensky not to negotiate with Putin and fight Russia to a victorious end. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has urged Ukrainian president not to negotiate with Putin, but to put pressure on him, writes the Ukrainian news website Ukrainska Pravda, citing a source close to the Ukrainian president. Quote, Johnson brought two simple messages to Kyiv. Putin is a war criminal. Pressure must be put on him. No negotiations are possible. And secondly, this is Boris to Zelensky. And secondly, if you are ready to sign any agreement with him, then we will not be a part of it. We can have agreements with you, but not with him. He will let everyone down in any case. Ukrainska Pravda quoted its source.
There's a rumor, but
this is a leak. This is allegedly a leak from Zelensky's cabinet. Boris went over, had a secret little meeting, and basically told him, do not negotiate. Do not, which in other words is saying, do not make peace. Like, we want this war to continue. We do not want to end the war.
Right.
Yeah, if you guys come to an agreement, we're out, baby. Yep. Like, say goodbye to the 40 billion. Say goodbye to everything. Do not negotiate with Putin. The newspaper suggests that, quote, the Western countries, which in February called on Zelensky to surrender and flee, has now felt that Putin is actually as omnipotent as everyone believed. They're saying, hey, we were originally trying to find a diplomatic out. And we reported last episode the comparison with JFK, who gave, during the missile crisis, gave the Russians a strategy that they could get out and save face. And Biden has made no attempt to do the same to Putin now. The U.S. does not want this to end. We do not want the war to end. Back to the article. Earlier, a well-known businessman, Yevgeny Chichkavarkin, suggested in an interview with Radio Svoboda that in 2 weeks, the situation in Ukraine could change so much that there will be a new round of escalation. And, quote, Putin will ask for peace through Erdogan, Xi Jinping, or anyone else. Earlier military expert Valery Lebedev said that the United States managed to rally around Ukraine. even those Western countries who resisted to the last and refused to supply heavy weapons to Kyiv. According to Lebedev, the Biden administration has radically changed tactics and strategies towards the war in Ukraine. According to Lebedev, the U.S. wants, quote, not only to help Ukraine win, but to do everything in order to weaken Russia as much as possible and deprive it of the opportunity to conduct similar offensive operations in the future. The Washington Post wrote earlier that, quote, this is no longer the war of Ukraine. This is the war of the West against the, quote, wild Asian horde. And the head of the White House has no right to lose it, being the leader of the free world. Wow, the wild Asian horde. How is somebody allowed to say that?
And
That's a weird way to talk.
I might be podcasting from an internment camp the way they're talking there.
You wild Asian horde member.
They'll just round up all the Asians in the U.S. So
there you go. It was just it was very interesting data point. It was a leak from Zelensky's government basically saying, yep, nope, the West doesn't want the war to end. Keep the war going. Don't negotiate. This is not about you anymore.
Right.
This is about the West's war on Russia.
And NATO and the whole thing. And so Boris says, don't negotiate. Meanwhile, UK, this is Politico, UK commits to defending Sweden and Finland if they are attacked. And Britain will provide military assistance to Sweden and Finland if they come under attack, including during their transition to NATO membership, Boris Johnson said. And that's partly another reason why he didn't want, Boris didn't want Zelensky to get involved directly with Putin, because then... Yeah, because
if the war ends, then they can't get Finland and Sweden to join NATO.
Right.
Finland just having announced yesterday, I believe, that they're ready to go. They're moving forward. We're joining NATO.
It's happening. And I don't think people in Finland are happy about it either. And then,
Which is just a reminder, Sweden and Finland will be the 31st and 32nd nation to join NATO, leaving one last spot for someone to join to be the 33rd nation.
Ukraine. The Times.co.uk, Russia warns of military technical response if Finland joins NATO. So
what does that mean?
I don't know, but Putin's getting ready for a military technical response. Hey, signs and wonders? I don't know. Who knows? But robots, maybe, yeah.
Robot response?
What if the Russian robots just start building stuff in Ukraine? Then they can level it, right? Oh, it's just robots. Send in the nukes.
Just robots.
Don't worry about it. And then the robot revolution and personhood of robots will begin. When we have to have that. We got to nuke robots before we can legislate their legaldom or personage in the world. They've got to be victims of something. And what nuke would be a great one, to get them to be victimized in the
Well, that's kind of what's been threatened in the past. And it says in this article, Russia's foreign ministry said that Moscow would be, quote, forced to take reciprocal steps, military, technical, and other, to address the resulting threats to its national security. They already talked about putting nukes on the border of Finland, which is really fun. What a fun development.
Europe. And then you had this last one here, the New York Post, with Rand Paul blasted.
Yeah, this was fun. Yeah, so we remember Biden asked for $33 billion to send to Ukraine, and then Congress said, "Oh, we'll do you better. We'll take out all the COVID relief, and we'll give you $40 billion." And we asked the question, as many people are, what in the world is this money going to? What is it doing? How are we guaranteeing what this is for?
We don't have baby formula on the shelves, but we're sending $40 billion to Ukraine.
In theory, this is our tax dollars that we're sending $40 billion of it over to Ukraine. New York Post headline, Ukraine, U.S. politicians rip Rand Paul over $40 billion aid to bill holdup. Top Ukrainian government officials blasted Senator Rand Paul on Friday after he objected to a bill that would send $40 billion in additional military and humanitarian aid to the Eastern European country. The Kentucky Republican denied leaders of both parties the unanimous consent needed for the Senate to quickly debate and vote on the passage, which had already been passed by the House Tuesday evening. Quote, "We all saw a CNN video where Russian soldiers shot civilians in the back just for fun," tweeted Mikhailo Podolyak. An advisor, loved that CNN video. An advisor told Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky's office, quote, "How many such crimes are happening at the moment in the east and south of Ukraine? Price of delay per day, hundreds killed and raped, price per week. Thousands have been having nice morning coffee, Rand Paul." So this is really ripping into Rand Paul.
Right.
So we're thinking, okay, so Rand Paul.
Tweets being part of news.
Tweets are the news. And so Rand Paul, notorious sort of rascal, was kind of the one lone guy standing up to Fauci during the pandemic. Now he's standing up to this $40 billion spending package. And I'm going to skip some more tweets here. Just get into it. The bill is almost certain to pass the Senate and be signed by President Biden next week. But Republicans and Democrats alike expressed exasperation at Paul over his block on legislation. That Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell insisted Thursday it should be approved at once. Also skipping a bunch of quotes here. Come on, give me to the meat. Give me to the good stuff.
Pictures of blown up Ukraine.
Yeah, lots of pictures of devastation.
A destroyed building and a little teddy bear underneath some rubbish. Tanks. Broken tanks.
There it is. Okay, I found it. Here we go. Okay. The truth is...
This is a quote, right?
This is a quote. "The truth is, this honestly could have been done Wednesday night," Tester said. Everything was ready to go. It's one of the problems with the U.S. Senate when you have one person that can obstruct everything. And we had this debate back in January that we shouldn't be allowing this, talking about things like the filibuster. The lawmaker went on, referring to the Senate filibuster, quote, "If you want to hold the floor, but at some point in time, that has to end." Paul, now here's what they're mad at him for. Paul has insisted on adding language to the bill, so he's not just blocking it. He's not just saying, don't send the money.
Revise some language, yeah.
Yes, he has this. This is what they're so mad about. Paul has insisted on adding language to the bill that would create a special inspector general position to oversee the distribution of the funds.
No.
Suddenly,
we don't need anybody watching oversee any distribution of the funds.
Yeah.
We don't need that.
What do you mean you want somebody to oversee the distribution of the funds? Quote, "My oath of office is to the U.S. Constitution, not to any foreign nation. Congress is trying yet again to ram through a spending bill, one that I doubt anyone has actually read, and there's no oversight included into how the money is being spent," Paul explained in a Twitter thread Thursday night. Quote, "All I requested is an amendment to be included in the final bill that allows for the Inspector General to oversee how funds are spent. Anyone who is opposed to this is irresponsible," he continued. Paul insisted that he sympathizes with Ukraine and their fight against Russian President Vladimir Putin, but said the U.S. cannot continue to spend money we don't have. Quote, "Passing this bill brings the total we've sent to Ukraine to nearly $54 billion over the course of 2 months," he wrote. Quote, "It's threatening our own national security, and it's frankly a slap in the face to millions of taxpayers who are struggling to buy gas, groceries, and find baby formula." In an attempt to move forward on the aid, McConnell and Schumer offered a deal to Paul that would have allowed a vote on his amendment, but would also have required it to receive 60 votes to be added to the bill. So there you go. But Rand Paul just wants somebody to put eyes on how the money is spent. And he is being torn to shreds by the globalist, World Economic Forum laden cabinets of the U.S. as well as Ukraine, saying, no, we don't want anybody to see how we spend this money. In fact, it's evil why would you want people to be killed and raped just because you want to have somebody look at the receipts about this $40 billion you send? And I think it says a lot about what the plans actually are for the $40 billion, which more than anything, the majority of that will be going to the American military industrial complex.
You know, it's very interesting to see all this unfold, and the longer we go along, the more blatant all of the lies are, and it just becomes so obvious. It's a challenge, because people don't see it. A lot of people don't see it, and they get pulled into the most
sucked
recent
into the narrative.
Yeah, they're sucked into the current narrative that's being presented, and it's kind of like a big magic trick,
It is.
Which brings us to this next story here with a new jingle.
Kabbalah.
Kabbalah is a belief system that predates religion.
Kabbalah.
It's incredibly scientific.
Thanks, Madonna. Appreciate the insight on Kabbalah. The Jerusalem Post had this opinion piece titled "The Attempts to Degrade Israel's Temple Mount Sovereignty." Opinion. And the subheadline: the nation of Israel's history and identification with the Temple Mount is longer and more ancient than others. It must exercise its sovereignty accordingly, which has a lot of biblical eschatological implications.
Temple Mount story here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'll try to be brief here. We don't want to spend too much time on it, but there's a couple parts I want to highlight. After months of focused and protracted public discourse on Israel's deficiencies in effectively exercising sovereignty over large swaths of its Arab population, a multi-pronged attack on Israel's sovereignty at the Temple Mount has been launched. It is an attack by way of various means in line with the hybrid warfare tactics. Uh-oh, my screen just jumped. What happened? Oh, no.
That happens to me, too. And
okay. Hybrid warfare tactics of the Arab leadership in both Gaza and Ramallah, and in cooperation with Arab political parties in Israel, as well as the Jordanian government. The attack is part of a repetitive ritual that Israel has had to contend with in recent years. Specifically, during the 3 Jerusalem pilgrimage festivals, Passover, Shavat, and Sukkot, as well as on Jerusalem Day, when Israel celebrates the modern-day liberation of the city. It is precisely those millennia-old manifestation of Israel's fundamental interrelation with its capital and the Temple Mount, and its unprecedented reaffirmation. Why am I saying that weird? Reaffirmation. There we go. With the site's liberation that threaten our enemies' falsehoods and designs on the city. The ritual began with grotesque and anti-Semitic incitement, amplified by the advent of social media and smartphones saturating an even more easily accessible mass audience. So he's basically suggesting that there is this ritualistic attack on the Temple Mount, and it includes social media and smartphones, and it sounds kind of like propaganda or some kind of mind control thing that they are accusing the enemies of Israel doing.
That's very interesting.
Right? The next, and I'm just skipping down here. There's a little more to this, but again, I'm trying to be brief here. The next stage are threats that are followed by a violent provocation that the forces hostile to Israel know will be ignored or quickly forgotten by the international community and the media. In many cases, unfortunately, among certain Israeli media as well. The provocation as Passover approached was rioting on the Temple Mount and a hail of stones thrown down at worshippers and visitors to the Western Wall from the Mount. Israel is then forced to intervene to prevent bodily harm and material damage to the holy sites, its citizens, visitors, in addition to having to ensure freedom of worship on the Temple Mount itself, as rioters disrupted religious activity at Al-Aqsa Mosque, and general access to the Mount. And so the other side has the spark it needs to create an artificial chain of events, false narrative, and media maelstrom. Who else does that, Basil? Create an artificial chain of events, a false narrative, and a media maelstrom.
Right.
Isn't that crazy?
I mean, that sort of is the magic of the day, really.
Right. It is. I mean, this is the magic trick, the big one, which the establishment and all of them are able to pull off because they control the largest pipelines of information, which is, with the internet, with these big platforms or whatever, and the major, media corporations and their sponsors. I'll end it with this paragraph here. This ritual, all capital, this ritual made to order crisis came on the heels of deadly Arab terror attacks throughout Israel in March and early April, which have not abated. The rites of the ritual then proceed with Israel being portrayed by Hamas, Ramallah authorities, Israeli Arab politicians, and the Jordanian government as doing exactly what they had warned about: raided the Temple Mount, desecrated a Muslim holy site, and changed the so-called status quo. This libel is then peddled by anti-Semites across the globe under the guise of disingenuous criticism of Israel. Israel is predictably accused of being solely responsible for all that transpired. And this comes in a moment of time when we didn't talk about it in the last episode, but there was a journalist from Al Jazeera who was shot and killed in, I think she was reporting in Gaza.
She was reporting in Palestinian territory. Right.
And we had prepared something which we didn't do, but basically Al Jazeera came out and their article was kind of a memorial to the journalist, but also the Zionists, Israelis, the IDF did this and they're careless and all this kind of stuff. And then the Jerusalem Post came out with an article saying, whoa, we don't know all the facts. This could have very well been some wild Palestinian, kind of just shooting guns. And so it was very fascinating to see the two sides peddle their own narrative. Everyone does it.
Competing spells, kind of.
Right, exactly.
And there was an update on that as well about the headlines reading something to the effect of Israeli police beat up
some
attendees at. Yeah, I don't think they called them protesters, but they beat up crowd at funeral for journalist,
Right.
And that is really a big point. I mean, it's one of our sort of main operational theses on this show is, the analysis and deconstruction of the media is really the identification of the sort of, in a way, the spells being cast on the population. And, you don't have to think of it that way, but, it is also a very effective way of understanding how this not even geopolitical, how these battles are fought every day within the media. And especially when it's in regards to the Temple Mount.
Right.
And
especially.
So this is all combining here to threaten the sovereignty of the Temple Mount, of course, whose sovereignty has been threatened pretty much continually for thousands of years.
Yeah, it's been the stumbling block, as the Bible says, right? So it's
very
definitely
interesting. Very interesting how this author, Elon Pomeranc, don't know if I'm saying that right, he's basically speaking the language of the occult. He's speaking the language of also Kabbalah, perhaps more specifically, straight up in like a mainstream media outlet in the Jerusalem Post. Like it's as if it were just a normal way to talk about these things.
And think about the biblical prophecy aspect of everybody sort of having a pilgrimage to the temple, the Temple Mount as sort of an end times thing where people worship the Antichrist without knowing he's the Antichrist kind of thing. I'll read the very last paragraph. The nation of Israel's history and identification with the Temple Mount is longer and more ancient than all those examples. There's a bunch of examples with the Westminster Abbey, Rome with the Forum, Beijing with the Forbidden City. It must exercise its sovereignty accordingly. Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, Jews, atheists, and anyone else for that matter can, under Israel's sovereignty, visit the old city of Jerusalem, the Western Wall, the Via Dolorosa, and the Church of the Holy Spectacle or Sepulchre. The same must become increasingly true for the Temple Mount without exception, because we are going to form it as the capital of the world, you see. We can't have these divisions based on religion and all that kind of stuff. We need it to be open to everybody, and that can't happen unless we have Israel's sovereignty over this holy land. So just kind of an interesting thing. And it very straightforward about how the opposition are performing a ritual, calling out all of their tactics, when really this piece itself is a ritual.
Yeah, which kind of trend that we've been identifying for a couple of months now, which is the transparency. We see it with a lot of the propaganda coming from the U.S. Like, this is how Russia propagandizes its people, and they just literally name the exact ways that America propagandizes its people. And that's just one example. But yeah, this calling out of the ritual, of the magic of the media, being a great example of how they themselves are doing the same thing.
Right.
And speaking of which, Gonz, I think we should pop into the break. What do you think?
Yeah, I wanted to do this other thing,
some things. You can do it. Okay, you can do it.
I'll do it real quick, just because it's
okay.
Kind of related to where we're going to go here. So,
sure.
Here we go. So we've been following a little bit of the Terra Luna cryptocurrency debacle. I've never seen anything like it, but it's a microcosm, a small petri dish example of what might happen to the world itself once the U.S. dollar, the world reserve currency, hyperinflates. And you'll see what I mean by that. But, there was some speculation about who was involved in dumping $250 million of this stable coin called UST to destabilize it and drop the price and literally have people's life savings ruined over a few days.
Assassinate a whole currency.
Yeah. Forbes.com responded to some of the rumors and has a headline here: BlackRock and Citadel deny trading cratering stablecoin, which was the Terra Luna and the UST situation. I'm just going to read one sentence here, because the whole thing is like, oh, we deny it. There's no public record of anything of us doing any of that. But here's what it says. BlackRock, on the other hand, recently became the primary reserve manager for the cash reserves of another stablecoin, USDC. That's a United States digital coin, managed by Circle and Coinbase, and made a strategic investment in Circle's latest $400 million funding round. So, they're kind of saying like, yeah, we got our own stablecoin thing going on. But that's sort of a giveaway, too, of like, oh, you mean you're in competition directly with something like a UST and Terra Luna? There's absolutely incentive there to destroy this independent crypto project or whatever. But more importantly, I think what we're seeing is this headline from Euronews.com: global crypto regulation body likely in next year as COVID-19, climate, and crypto top concerns. COVID, climate, crypto. No, it's the Canary Cry Canarium. That's the triple C's, man. It's not the COVID, climate, crypto. They're trying to step in on our alliteration game. But this is no surprise. You knew that this was coming as soon as Janet Yellen mentioned Terra Luna UST stablecoin the morning after it started, the dump started to happen. And basically what happened was, again, I won't get into the details, but there's a stablecoin that's supposed to be 1-to-1 to the dollar, and it's backed by this algorithm. They threw it out of whack, and it started to fall. And one of the assets backing the stablecoin was the coin Terra Luna. And in order to try to bring it back up to $1, they had to burn UST, which is, again, it's this complicated mechanism, and it printed a bunch of Terra Luna. And the supply of Terra Luna went from 300 million up to like 6.5 trillion within a couple days. Hyperinflation. which is what's happening to our economy with the U.S. dollar. They're printing so many dollars that it's causing disruption in the economy. And so it's kind of a little petri dish experiment with a small crypto thing to see what kind of, we've seen it in, third world nations with smaller currencies pegged to the dollar get destroyed with hyperinflation. So it's very similar in that regard. But it's just kind of, again, a petri dish of what could happen. There's rumors, and I think some of it has been verified, that people have committed suicide because they lost their life savings or millions of dollars because of this huge crash. And that kind of social engineering, and I guess that's kind of the warning here, is that this is small scale. This is some obscure cryptocurrency getting hyperinflated and destroyed in a few days. And we heard about 8 to 20, I don't know how many exactly, suicides that happened.
And you kind of compared this to what happened to the pound. It was almost the same strategy, was it not?
Exactly the same strategy.
So we've seen it with a classic, government-issued currency.
Right.
It's not even necessarily a new strategy. And yet they just pulled it off here. And it's kind of worrisome because it kind of shows that it's, the strategy still works.
It still works,
and we could see it done. We could see it done on a bigger scale.
It works with crypto that has a centralized authority running it, like a Do Kwon, who was head of the project. If you don't have a head of the project, which is part of at least publicly, there's no head of the project of Bitcoin. It is the only sort of the most decentralized project out there, for good or for bad, and that's another conversation. But there you go. I just wanted to mention it because I just keep seeing this theme, this petri dish theme, where we're sort of the things that are being revealed are happening at a sort of a micro scale, and based on the reaction within that micro scale, I just wanted to be a warning about what we can see when they start trying to pull it off at a larger scale. It could be really ugly. So,
you know what else is a bit of a petri dish, Gonz? That's us being on the value for value model.
Oh,
Let's take a quick break.
It's a fuzzy petri dish.
It's a fuzzy little petri dish. That's right. And our little experiment here, folks, continues. And that experiment is called the value for value model. You may notice no corporate money whatsoever goes into supporting the show. No advertisements, affiliate codes, partnerships with any platforms, nothing. We are entirely funded on the value for value model, which means we're funded by you, dear listener, and those listeners who decide that they've received value from this show. They want to continue to receive value from this show. They put some value back in, and that value can take several different forms. It could be your time, your talent, or your treasure. And we want to take an opportunity to thank those listeners who become producers. And they are producers. It's not a gimmick. That's, this is the real world, baby. If you pay to have a piece of media produced, you are a producer. And we've decided long ago that this experiment of the value for value model is something we were ready to commit to, not just because, I don't know, for whatever reason, but because the idea of aligning ourselves with the corporate lizard people who want to advertise their wares to you. That means they want to collect your time and attention. They want, Gonz and I to collect your time and attention and sell it to them for our own personal gain. So they can, give us some ads to read or something and cast those spells upon our listeners and to have, the opportunity. They would use us as their mouthpiece to subtly, psychologically manipulate you into spending money you don't have on things you don't need, all in the name of corporate profits. And not just corporate profits, because we know corporate money equals corporate incentives. And we just want nothing to do with that. Why would we use this show as a way to progress in sort of old, some might even call it demonic economic system that sees you, dear listener, not as a human being with, a child of God with loves and fears and worries and family and these types of things. No, they see you as a nice economic cog in a larger machine. And that would make us also an economic cog in that larger machine. But the value for value system really is, we consider, a revolutionary experiment in that, you know what? We create value. We do it 3 times a week. And if you get any value out of what we do, and you want to continue receiving value, you just got to put some value back in. It's the only way that it works, keeps everybody honest around here, and also keeps our conscience clean so that we're not doing whatever we can to hold you hostage to the whims of the corporate lizard people. And that's why we want to thank our producers here. And we're going to be starting out with our executive producers. Mm-hmm. Oh, also, if you want to become a producer, you should go to patreon.com/CCNT, or even better, CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
That's right. Our executive producers are those who come in hot, baby, to support the show, help carry the load in this time of uncertainty and shakiness going on financially, and for lots of families and listeners out there. So we thank them very much. We're going to thank our one executive producer today, and that is executive producer Billy.
Thank you, Billy.
Where'd you find this?
And Billy comes in with a nice round number, which is a great opportunity to remind everybody that we always lean in the direction of anonymity. And so if you prefer that we don't read the amount of your producership, you come in with a nice round number. And that just signals to us that you don't need us to read it. If you are okay with us reading it, you just put something funky, make it a fun number, which, it's triple ones, triple twos, triple threes. Sometimes people just put 33 cents on it. Whatever the case may be, that tells us you don't mind if we say it out loud, but that's not Billy. Thank you, executive producer Billy. Sends a note here that says, "Hello, Basil and Gonz. The wife and I have been listening for a couple of years now and really enjoy the show. God bless you both and keep up the great work, Billy." Thank you very much, Billy.
Thank you, Billy, and your Billy wife.
Billy and Billy's wife. Yeah, and it's always nice, too. Like I say often, not every single listener has to produce every single show. But as long as people are being responsible and honest about the value that they get out of the show and produce when they can, the show can keep going. So thank you very much, Billy.
Thank you, Billy.
I want to just mention real quick the Canary Cry supply drop. Supply drop. That's right, the CanaryCry.Supply.com. CanaryCry.Supply.com. Go check it out. We need to update that page, but you can still get the gist of it. If you support the show in the amount of $33 or more per month, you not only are keeping the show going, our supply droppers have really saved our butts over the past couple months when things are not stable in the producer space, but you also will receive 4 shipments of custom, cool, and important, one-of-a-kind objects created by Canary Cry producers, designed by the artists, and made in America. It's the closest thing we have to merchandise or swag, but we are not in the retail business. We are in the business of providing value to our producers. Do that.
I was just going to say, when once China takes over Taiwan and the supply chain from China gets choked out here in the U.S., it'll be, homemade, American-made product.
That's right.
Not products per se, but, items.
We got to make stuff in America. That's our problem. Yeah. And that's part of our sort of pledge this is also with the Canary Cry supply drop.
This is also going to push the robot revolution in the U.S., but I digress. Continue on.
Yeah, we got to make our own robot enemies. I do have a correction. Last episode, we had a Patreon supporter come in, and that was producer Mowgli Chips. And I do want to say, Mowgli Chips signed up for the supply drop. So thank you very much, supply dropper Mowgli Chips.
Mowgli Chips, thank you very much.
And remember, we are right now working on, well, we have a special. If you sign up for the supply drop right now, we'll send you the Canary Cry Multidimensional Communications Codex, which is an ARG podcast companion game, which we are still sort of having fun with, but we did just start. The clues have started coming through the multidimensional communications portals, and we have people playing the game during the podcast right as we speak. And you can join in. If you sign up for the supply drop, we'll send you out the booklet immediately so you can start playing along. And with that, Gonz, I had another weird little message come through. And can you play that for me,
sure,
please?
B H8 3 11 repeat B H8 3 11
Weird.
Okay, just keeps happening, man. I don't get it either. Somebody will do something with that. Yeah, I know. And we've been doing it in the supplies drop section for the first couple times here, so people know what to listen for. But those might just come in and out during the show, and we have no control over it. So thank you very much to Mowgli Chips, and go sign up for the supply drops. CanaryCry.Supply.com. Still waiting. That's right. Thank you very much. All right. Well, we have a number of producers to thank here who came in to make this show happen, and we're going to thank them right now. Starting with producer Jonathan F.
Jonathan F. Thank you very much. Good to see you.
Indeed. Jonathan F. comes in with, let me find the official number. What did you come in with, Jonathan F.? This is harder than it looks. Still not easy. Okay, there you go. Yeah, Jonathan F. came in. That's what it is. Came in with $66.66. Ooh, you little rascal. I had to check because with fees, he actually brought the fees in too. Thank you, Jonathan. It was $69.15. I said, that looks suspiciously close to a funny number, but thank you very much, Jonathan F.
Thank you, Jonathan F.
Indeed. Next up, we have producer. Kodageddon, the World Eater is here. You didn't mention that at the beginning of the show.
He's here, over here. You got the propaganda rooster over there. This is quite the.
Got a lot of animals on this show.
Hey, chill out. You're fine.
All right. Well, Kodageddon, please let us continue, if we may. Next up, we have Lady Night Littlewing. This is technically Dame Lady Night Littlewing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dame Lady Night Littlewing.
That's right. She comes in with her monthly support here, or I don't know if it's monthly, but it's occasional support. We appreciate very much. Nice round number and a note. Blessings, Canary fam. Invasion of the Church of Skaton, LA date is TBA. What is TBA? Oh, to be announced. As we get people signed up. XO Lady Night Littlewing. Yeah, I'm not sure what the best way to do the meetups is. If the TBD TBA thing is the way to go, or if just setting the date. But if you are in the LA area and you want to go roller skating with some cool Canarians, go to CanaryCry.Meetups.com. You'll find the contact for Lady Night Littlewing, who will be leading that meetup. I suggest everybody go do that, and especially you, Gonz.
Huh? Sorry, I missed it. I was taking care of baby stuff.
Oh, that's okay. Next up, we have producer Michael. Thank you, Lady Night Littlewing. Next up, we got Michael G supporting the show in the amount of $33.33 plus fees.
Thank you, Michael G.
That's right, Michael G coming in. Let's see. Lady Night Littlewing is saying because they have weekly night skating, so we want to make sure people can go. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I know. Of course. So, yeah, go get in touch with Lady Night Littlewing. You can find her email at CanaryCry.Meetups.com. Next up, we've got producer Morph on a 90 episode streak. Right, comes in with 1111. And a note here, happy Friday. Hope everyone... Keep playing with the Friday thing.
Yeah.
Happy Friday. I hope everyone has a good weekend. Thank you, Morph.
Thank you, Morph. Appreciate it.
Next up, we got Nicholas B. coming in with the 1111 plus
Nicholas
fees.
B.
11.
That's right. Keep up the great work. Love the show. Thanks, Nicholas B.
Thank you, Nicholas B.
Next up, we got Sir Casey the Shield Knight with a 155 episode streak.
Oh, yes, they call him the street. Fastest thing on 2 feet.
The streak.
Yeah. You know what? I thought we got a... yes. Yes.
11.
I thought there was a note from Sir Casey, but I'm not seeing it. Strange.
Maybe
Here,
maybe that's what's going on. In the document? No?
There's a document.
No, the one.
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah, happy Friday, blessings. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Happy Friday, Sir Casey.
Thank you, Sir Casey.
Oh, no, that is actually not what it is, but I'm sure I'm sure he wishes us a happy Friday
there
anyways.
of a message. Yeah, sorry. I thought that's what was going on because I saw that before the name. Yep. Yeah, okay.
I hear you. No worries. That was actually from our next producer One Lousy Petunia.
Thank you, One Lousy Petunia. Yeah. That was the note.
Who comes in for 1111 plus fees.
I see.
Yes.
11.
And the note that says Happy Friday, blessings. Thank you, One Lousy Petunia.
Thank you, One Lousy
A
Petunia.
little bit unorganized on my side today, but that's okay. We'll make it through. Next up, we got Sir Scott Knight of Truth coming in with a pocket full of sevens on a 145 episode streak.
They call him the street. Fastest thing on 2 feet.
Yeah. Next up, we got Sir JC Knight of the Techno Squatch.
Quicker.
Oh, yeah! Thank you so much.
1001. Amen.
That's right. He comes in with a 103 episode streak with the 1001. And he sends a note that says, just listen to the first half of Our Mothers Ravel episode. Mrs. Basil. Oh my gosh, dude. What is going on with the internet? Mrs. Basil's mom is one super cool person from the sound of it. Hope everyone enjoys this Friday day.
Keep playing with the Friday thing.
Yeah, lots of good responses from the Our Mothers episode on Ravel. If you want to know what Basil's mom is like, that is a great opportunity to do so. Getting a lot of great feedback. Thank you, Sir JC.
Thank you, Sir JC.
You know, Sir Scott Knight of Truth did send a note. I don't know how it didn't get in there, but he says, out of town with my wife for our 23rd wedding anniversary.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Sir
awesome.
Scott Knight of Truth. Yeah, congratulations. Hard work, I imagine. Next up, we've got producer James M., who is on a 4 episode streak.
That is a streak, yeah.
Yes. He was worried. He thought maybe he wouldn't be able to keep it together, but he did. He came in for at least one more. Thank you very much, James M. Let me double check. You know what's annoying? Sometimes my shift key gets stuck on my digital metaverse keyboard.
Yeah.
It's like they want to make it so realistic that, they'll just give me sticky keys for no reason.
Can you use some metaverse, some WD-40 on that?
Some WD-40, yeah. James M. says, God bless you guys. God bless you, James. Thank you very much.
M.
Next up, we've got Joshua M. coming in with a pocket full of sevens.
Thank you, Joshua M.
And he has a note that reads, hey, Basil and Gonz, hope all is well. Wanted to ask you guys if you guys saw the thing going on May 22nd, apparently with the HWO, the WHO, and a vote could give up our sovereignty to them and the one world government. Many prayers for our world right now. God bless JM. Thank you, JM. A vote on May 22nd to give up our sovereignty to the WHO. I've not heard of this. Have you?
I have not. I'm doing a quick search to see if there's anything here.
Any deets?
Yeah, I don't know if it's something that we can...
Sounds like something with a lot of subtlety and nuance that would require some research. But now we have something to research, Gonz. We were worried that we would have nothing to look into, and now we got one. So thank you for bringing that to our attention, JM.
Yeah, there's a blog, well, not a blog post. The People's Voice has an article titled, on May 22nd, who will have authority to lock down all of America? That's not good.
Yeah, we'll need to find some source material on that. We generally don't.
I have Israel.
Generally, don't go to the blogs
news.
For that.
There's Israeli outlet.
Is anybody linking any source material on those posts?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Israel365news.com seems to be the source here. Maybe.
Okay.
Actually,
We'll look into
this might be a blog too, actually. All right. Well,
we'll
dig
look into it.
We'll figure it out.
Thank you very much. All right. That concludes. Let me do a quick little refresher-oonski here, but I believe that will conclude, yes, it does, the producership of the show in the amount of 777 or more, which entitles to have a note read on the show, but we got a few more people to thank on the other side of that, starting with the Streak Sisters, Veronica D. on a 120 episode streak. And
that's the button. Hold on, sorry.
Thank
you so much.
Next, we've got the other Streak Sister, Gail M. on a 120 episode streak.
My stream deck is frozen. There we go.
No, why? Why? It's the technology. Yeah, and there was a reminder being sent out to Green Pastures from Gail to send a email to canarypeeps@yahoo.com to claim your prize. Next up, we've got Runk Smash, who's coming in. This must be a 2-episode streak.
Okay. Thank you, Runk Smash.
Next up, we've got Jackie U on a 60-episode streak.
60, there we go. She powered up to the
she's on the new thing.
Streak.
Love it. Then last but not least, we got Sir James Knight, Servant of the Lion of Judah on an 87-episode streak.
Thank you, Sir James.
And the light shining directly onto my camera has begun. Must mean it's getting late in the day, so I'm fixing that real quick. But that does conclude all of our financial producers for today's show. And thank you very much for your patronage.
Shut up and take my money.
Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message.
That's right. Go to CanaryCry.Newstalk.com. There will be a green tab. Click on that green tab. Another button will pop up. You can leave us a voice message. It's so easy. You're giving us permission to play it if we want, but it is not guaranteed. Gonz, who is leaving voice messages?
You okay? We're going to start off with Rochelle. I think you can use this, Basil.
Happy Friday, Canarians. I just want to encourage you to go do those things, those hard things this weekend. Get prepared. Read your Bible. Be ready to stay strong for Jesus. Here's a poem inspired from Ephesians 2. Dead in your transgression, dead in your sin, the spirit of this world calls you to win. Now is the time for leaving the flesh. The spirit and soul struggle to mesh. Saved by his grace, give us power to face. 'Cause we're seated in the heavenly, where the Son and the Father be. By grace he will save. No works, no man can rave. He created good work for us in advance, if we would just take the chance. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. And stay strong for
very
Jesus.
Much. Oh.
Stepped on.
There was a pause for suspense there. Thank you very much, Rochelle. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much. Next up, we
very
have
encouraging.
A piece from Michael G. He's one of our producers for today, who's a Illuminatus. See what he's got to say here.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, gentlemen. Greetings from the east coast of Canada, Nova Scotia.
Ooh.
Wanted to say I appreciate y'all, and you're doing amazing things, so thank you. Bless you both.
Thank you.
And bless everybody on the show who watches, all that. I need the producers to come through. Pray for my dad, who's in the hospital with like a huge kidney stone. Been in there for a minute. So let's pray that he comes out 100%. I'm gonna send a little production, whatever you guys want to call it, into the show. My normal 33 is coming through. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael G. And
thank you very much. Yeah, we might as well call the producers. Yeah.
Producers, assemble!
That's right. We're calling the producers. They are Canarians, just like you, who are committed to praying for the show and praying for everyone connected to the show, but especially answering the call when prayer is needed. So Michael G's dad in the hospital with a big old kidney stone, definitely praying some comfort and some healing and a quick resolution.
Yeah.
That could be, oh my gosh, a big deal. Yeah. So thank you very much, Michael G. And there you go. Everybody keep Michael G. Senior, Michael G's dad, in your prayers for quick recovery.
Yeah. Let's crush those kidney stones.
Crush them, babies. They use like sound waves or something now to pulverize them. It's very sciencey.
What about the goo? Remember the goo robot? Maybe the goo robot.
Send in the nanobots. Yeah, right.
We don't want to give Michael G any ideas.
No.
Dad,
no
they're not going to figure it out here. We got to get the black goo nanobots in your body.
No.
Don't do that. Yeah.
The prayer will do it.
Prayer will do it. All right. Thank you very much.
Next?
We'll be praying for you and your dad. We got one from Psalm 40.
Hey, everybody. Here's another story from Psalm 40. I was about 6 years old, and it was Halloween. We were coming back to the house after trick-or-treating, and it was still daylight. As we walked up, we all saw something coming out of the attic window, straight through the glass. The best I can describe it was like a cloud. It was just a thick white mass. This was before cell phones, but luckily my dad had a camera that would spit the photo right out. He took the picture, and clear as day, it showed a giant cotton ball floating in the sky. I remember having that photo for years, but of course, like any dramatic ghost story, it disappeared. The real kicker is that in the early 1900s, the house was a funeral home, and legend has it, the original owner hung himself in the attic after his wife died from an illness. But that's a story for another time. Hey Basil, since I missed you last time, what's the first memory you have as a human being? I hope you didn't cover that in the recent Ravel episode. I haven't finished.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, got cut off.
Got cut off. Yeah. 90 seconds, baby. That's fun. Did Psalm 40 leave an interesting story on your solo episode on Friday? Is that what that's about?
I think so. Yeah.
I remember seeing a message from him coming in.
Yeah.
My first. That's a funky story, by the way. The supernatural things going on, always spooky.
The camera that spits out photos right away is called a Polaroid. Might be a generation of kids who don't know what a Polaroid camera is.
Polaroid's actually still very hot right now.
Is it? It's a retro thing, right? It's like a retro.
Not the ones, yeah. I mean, they've got all sorts of products still available. My first memory.
That was the question, by the way. I think it was Psalm 40's story, and then he asked me what my first memory was, which was crying in the crib.
Yeah. Oh, you actually remember crying in the crib?
I was one of the, when they were leaving me in there to soothe myself or teach me how to soothe myself. Yeah, that old thing.
The first memory that I can recall was I must have been 2 years old, definitely under 3. Must have been 2 years old, and somehow I had a little slingshot, and I was told not to shoot anything with the slingshot, and so I secretly grabbed a golf ball, went into the garage, and shot a golf ball in the garage. And I was
At
2 years old. And so it did absolutely nothing. It just sort of like fell and bounced on the garage, concrete floor. And my mom came in and was like, "Did you shoot the slingshot in the garage?" I said, "No." And that's all I remember.
So your first memory is a defiance and lying.
Yeah, it's a disrespect for authority, and yeah.
you know, it's interesting. I would be curious if anybody has a good first memory. I feel like the first memories are always kind of traumatic.
Yeah, it's got to be it's in order to activate the memory recording process. It's got to be something traumatic.
Yeah, smack the side
Thank
of the
you very much for the question there, Psalm 40.
Psalm 40. Thank you very much. We got one more here, and we had Yoda in the last episode, so not to be outdone. Darth Vader has joined us. Darth.
Well, Yoda, I have found you. I figured you'd be here on CC&T. Think outside the cage. I am no longer staying in the dark side. This show has brought me to the light. So Yoda, let's be friends. But Yoda, tell me this first. Where is my son? Yoda, when I see you again, I'll give you a big hug.
Okay.
Wow, the Canary Cry, that should be one of our, that's some good marketing material. Canary Cry News Talk. We brought even Darth Vader to the light side.
Hi, Darth Vader.
Well, thank you very much, Darth Vader. Yeah, making friends. See? And that's why you should go to meetups, everybody, because you may find somebody who formerly was your enemy, and you will become friends because of the show.
You will learn that he was just misunderstood.
He's just misunderstood the whole time. Thank you very much, Darth Vader, and everybody who left us messages. Was that all of them?
That's
we have
all
any
of
more?
them. Yep.
Okay, very good. Okay, real quick, I want to thank some people for leaving reviews.
Oh, we're doing reviews. I forgot. Sorry, I forget that
Just
it was
a quick review. Yeah, I'm splitting them up between the breaks, and this will be fast.
Yeah, the board is different here.
There we go. Thank you. We did it. We hit 5 reviews before Friday. It's a really important thing for us to do, and something that Gonz and I have no control over. Only you do. And I'm talking about leaving ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts. It helps us out a ton, especially when we get 5 or more, activates those algorithms, shares the show with new people who've never seen it before. It is a really, really easy way to help the show and costs you nothing. And so I want to thank some people here. I'm going to read a few, starting with Davey540 from the United States. Davey540, 5-star review. He said, I could have sworn I left a review commenting on the, there's a thing in the way.
Certainty of my review.
Excuse me, Gonzo. I could have sworn I left a review commenting on the certainty of my leaving a previous review. Yeah. Well, better than nothing. Thank you very much, Davey540. Appreciate it. Next up, we've got Johnny the Bravo F. We've got some repeats. I appreciate activating the repeats very much. 5 stars. By the way, enough reviews.
Sorry. Finish that one first.
Okay, Johnny the Bravo F from the United States of America, 5 stars, 5-star show all the way. Enough reviews for ooh. Oh, we'll see. Sure, we can do it now.
Well, because
thank you very much, down to the Bravo app.
I just wanted to say, Davey 540. I thought was the bass player, the biggest bass player on YouTube, but that's Davey 504. So maybe his brother or something.
Sounds right. Sounds right.
Yeah.
Anyway. Next, we got Harold Donaldson from the United States of America. 5 stars. Ooh, woo. He says, I'm not a ugly, I'm not a ugly, horrible person. Well, thank you very much, Harold.
Thank you,
for that review. And I will read more reviews in the next break. But if you haven't left a review out there, just know that it helps us a lot. It's super easy to do. And if you haven't done it, well, let Gonz's grumpy uncle tell you what's up.
Ugly, horrible person. You must leave review on iTunes. And if you do not, you are ugly, horrible person. You bring shame to family. Bing Ugly, horrible person.
That's right. There you go. Head on over to Apple Podcast. Leave us a review. Thank you so much for that, everybody. And yeah, let's do it one more. We did get 5. We might as well do the ooh-woo again.
Okay.
Ooh-woo. People like the song, and we only get to play it once a week or so. All right, that's it. I think we're done with this break. YouTubers, go find another place to watch the show, please, because what follows next is too hot for YouTube.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure?
Twitch, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is, you can find all those links at CanaryCry.Party as well. Too hot for YouTube.
YouTube. Now you see me. Now you don't.
Now you don't. Goodbye, YouTube. I'm clicking off of you, and you will miss this next jingle.
It's Corona time. COVID-19. 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 Yes. COVID-19. COVID-19. Coronavirus. Vaccine. Number one way.
Vaccine, number one way to control people. Yeah. Vice.com. North Korea sending out SOS as it admits unnamed disease has spread to 350,000 people.
This is from Vice?
This is from Vice.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was published on May 12th at 9:11 p.m. North Korea's recently revealed COVID-19 outbreak may have already infected hundreds of thousands of people over the past month, according to the country's state media. An article published Friday...
But they said it was unnamed. Is Vice just assuming that it's COVID, or...
An article published Friday by the country's international broadcasting service, The Voice of Korea, revealed that an, quote, obscure febrile disease has been explosively spread and expanded on a nationwide scale since late April, producing more than 350,000 persons in a fever in a short time, end quote. The report did not explicitly state that the widespread infections were from COVID, but experts say it was a tacit admission that the virus has spread across the isolated country of 25.8 million people, which, until this week, had denied it had any confirmed cases of the disease and rejected vaccine offers. Those rebels. Quote, it's not likely to be other viruses in the current situation. Hundreds of thousands of people have symptoms. Jacob Lee, professor of infectious diseases at South Korea's Hallyeong University Gangnam Sacred Heart Hospital, told Vice World News, quote, there is no other respiratory virus that can be prevalent right now other than COVID-19. There's nothing else out there in the world, Basil. COVID-19 is the only thing, man. Come on.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to say.
I know. It's all right. Of those infected, 162,200 have reportedly recovered, but more than 18,000, quote, persons in a fever were newly registered on Thursday. Suggests it's like
18,000 in a country of 25 million does not seem like that big of a deal.
There's suggesting that the virus is rapidly spreading. Yeah, to have a fever. Yeah. On the same day, the country's ruler, Kim Jong-un, first announced a COVID outbreak and ordered the country into lockdown, although he did not say how many people were infected. The Friday report revealed that over 187,800 had been in quarantine and that 6 individuals with fever symptoms have died, one of whom tested positive for the BA2 Omicron variant of COVID. Quote, Kim
How do
Jong-
they know that? How do they know?
They don't know it's COVID.
Either they're keeping it a secret and not giving us information, or they told you that they tested positive for the Omicron variant.
Which is hilarious.
How is it both?
Yeah, it's hilarious because the according to the North Korean state media, they did not say it was COVID, but they did say that some died from the BA2 Omicron variant.
I'm not even suggesting any sort of conspiracy here. I'm just saying the logic of this article makes no sense.
It's Vice. It's not supposed to make sense. Yeah. Quote, Kim Jong-un seriously pointed out that the febrile disease has simultaneously occurred in many places with the capital circle as the center, and it shows that there is an imperfection in the anti-epidemic system we have already established, the report added. If the 350,000 cases of fever were caused by COVID, it would mean that many more North Koreans, potentially millions, have been exposed to the virus, with the cases undetected because of a lack of testing or symptoms. And if they don't have symptoms, why do we care? Why do we care? I guess it's just to spread it to vaccinated people. Shanghai, which has a similar population to North Korea and tested the bulk of its 26 million residents, has reported some 56,000 symptomatic cases since March and 10 times more cases without symptoms. Experts fear the ramifications. Yeah, that's crazy, right? So 560,000 cases without symptoms, 56,000 with. 1/10 the amount of people who test positive have symptoms.
Yeah, that's the PCR test for you.
Yeah. Experts fear the ramifications of such an outbreak could be catastrophic, as the country is not known to have administered any COVID vaccines to its population. Got to crack down on all these nations, man, especially the CIA petri dish that is North Korea. Quote, you can think of what happened in Wuhan when it first broke out, when no one had been infected before. But what's spreading in North Korea now is 5 to 6 times more transmissible than the one in Wuhan, said Lee. Quote, the infection rate will be rising fast. No North Korean is immunized and well-nourished, so it'll probably result in mass death. There's a high probability it could be a huge catastrophe. We're killing North Koreans. They're dying.
Yeah. It's like there's this assumption. Well, there's an interesting assumption that they've never had COVID before. Like they're taking this admission as the first sign that COVID has ever been there. But if they've had COVID, which they would never admit, but if they've had COVID floating around for the past 2 years, then presumably there'd be some level of immunity. Just from natural recovery from the virus. But it's kind of weird that they're just taking Kim Jong-un's word on the matter, that this is the first time that they've had an issue.
I wonder if this is like a Trump move, like a backhanded Trump thing, where he's like,
I think it's a China move.
Maybe. Yeah, it could be a China move, yeah.
Tell me about your Trump theory. I didn't mean to interrupt your fun.
No, I just because we know Trump goes around the intelligence services to try to make deals
Trump's,
and stuff.
He's going over there all the time.
So say before the WHO. Here's Reuters, World Health Organization not yet notified of North Korea COVID outbreak. It says, so this is a Trump move. Like, hey, just say you have COVID outbreak, say it, but don't tell the WHO, and then it'll rattle the WHO. Anyway, there you go. It's just interesting how North Korea, which if I'm not mistaken, they were a country that said that they've never had COVID until this point. I mean,
that's what I mean.
Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
So why would they do it now? Like, what's the incentive behind saying like, oh yeah, we got it. It's spread all over and all this stuff. Is it just an admission?
It just seems pure propaganda to me. I mean, I'm sure they've had it the whole time. Like, right. Why suddenly would we take them at their word? And by we, I mostly mean Vice.
Right,
why
Vice.
would Vice write an article from the perspective that they would have never had COVID in their entire country until they admit it, and then at the same time make a point to say, oh, well, they would never admit it, but now they are, so
this is like the Smith-Munn thing, reporting on other nations' disinfo and calling it real news.
Yeah, I can't understand an end game outside of propaganda. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it has to be some kind of. Yeah, it's tough, man. It just depends on who you think owns North Korea. Is it China or is the CIA? Well, I guess the CIA would be partially China already.
I guess, yeah, that's hard to say.
It's tough to say, but what is the move here? Is this some kind of opening? Because the whole narrative, especially when Trump was in office, the narrative with North Korea was Kim Jong-un wants to open up to the world, wants North Korea to become a tourist destination and all that kind of stuff, right? That was like he just wants to be part of the world thing. So that's why I kind of thought of Trump as like, you say you had the COVID and then you can open it up but not have to necessarily bow to the WHO and stuff like that. But maybe get the benefits of some kind of it could be part of the Great Reset. Maybe there's some supply chain stuff that's changing, and North Korea might be involved in some of that.
Sounds like a China move to me.
That's what I'm saying. China using North Korea as sort of a supply chain reset proxy of some kind.
Seems like a trap, man.
Yeah, in order for them to do that,
listen to this. Listen to this. So a couple different things here. North Korea is currently one of only 2 countries in the world, along with Eritrea, that has not rolled out COVID vaccines after Kim refused multiple offers from the global COVAX program and other countries. Combined with a medical system that is already on its knees, as well as hamstrung economy and languishing food and fuel stocks, the shockwaves of a COVID outbreak and lockdowns could be devastating for people around the country. I love how they just admit lockdowns could be devastating. Like,
yeah,
we've seen how that works.
On that,
the lockdowns are just as dangerous as the outbreak itself.
Yeah.
Pyongyang likely knows this, and some experts believe that the North Korean government, in finally making a rare public admission of an outbreak within its borders, may be seeking outside aid. Quote, the fact that they disclosed it themselves shows the severity of it, and wouldn't have if it weren't so serious.
They wouldn't have if they weren't so serious.
Right, said Lee. Quote, it's like they're sending out an SOS to the world. The situation must be more serious than has been disclosed already. It seems like a weird trap to me, man. I know that's kind of like a crazy thing to say, but it reminds me of like a Star Trek episode or something,
exactly. Right.
Where it's like, oh, we leave this planet alone. We don't talk to this planet. This planet, there are enemies or whatever. You know, we don't mess with this planet. And then suddenly a strange SOS comes from the planet. It is uncharacteristic, and there's desperates, and they want our help. And then you go there, and they spring a trap, and suddenly, whatever. Yeah, William Shatner has to like fist fight a lizard person or something.
So now we're doing Are you talking Star Trek or Star Wars? You're mixing the two.
I said Star Trek.
Okay, you said Star Trek.
I said Star Trek.
All right. Good.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, it could be Star Wars either way. I mean, it's a weird SOS from nowhere, and why do we care? I guess that even the conversation about is North Korea so bad or not is so sort of viciously debated, even amongst Americans. Joe Rogan had that North Korean lady on talking about how horrible it was. And liberals lost their minds about no, North Korea's great because they're communist. And we love that. And now suddenly it's reversed here on Vice. I think it's a trap. I'm saying it right now. It's a trap.
Okay.
There. That was Star Wars for you, Gonz.
There you go. All right. Well, there's some other COVID news here from the Jerusalem Post. Nearly 13% of patients hospitalized with COVID-19 had neurologic symptoms, according to a study here of more than 16,000 patients examined. 13% developed serious neurological conditions, including most commonly encephalopathy at admission. So there you go. We don't have to read the details, but that's just more info coming out about the effects of all this.
I will connect this to a story that we're not doing real quick. I forgot to put it in the thing. I don't know. It's too late. I could send you the link. But the point is, the COVID being the weirdest disease in the world, like having basically any possible symptom that could be a symptom, and also long-reaching effects into the future, and they're talking about next generational symptoms if your parents had COVID. There was that time when COVID lowered your IQ. There's all these weird things. Well, dailymail.co.uk is reporting from the 8th of May, so a little while ago now. China was preparing for a third world war with biological weapons, including coronavirus, 6 years ago, according to dossier produced by the People's Liberation Army in 2015 and uncovered by the U.S. State Department. So again, another possible just piece of propaganda, but the U.S. State Department is coming out and saying, the Chinese had a plan to use a coronavirus as a biological weapon for World War III. And, I was thinking, coronavirus was a big deal. It wasn't not a big deal, but also it wasn't like what you'd think of as a World War III winning, biological weapon yet, but it's really these long-term effects that, matches the Chinese long-term planning strategies.
You poison the well, they may not die right away, but slowly they will crumble from within later on. Yeah.
In the Chinese strategists' mind, they plan World War III to be like a 100-year process, a generational process. And if maybe you have a fairly non-lethal disease like COVID-19, to Bill Gates's admission, 0.3% lethality, which is fairly benign compared to what we've been told for 2 years. But that's not what it's about. It's not about killing people immediately. It's about sort of inserting this strange, generations long degradation of a population. That's where I'm seeing these weird neurological issues really fit into a grander narrative.
Yeah. And also,
so anyway,
the
just
neurological thing too, again, and when we pointed it out before, but creating an opportunity for all the brain-computer interface technology that's being developed, a pool of people that would benefit from such technologies. You need the people with the problem.
Right.
So this would be a great way to create that problem so that the solution is already, it's been in the works for years. So good timing, government and private corporations working with them.
And of course, who knows what role the vaccine plays in that and how long that was part of the plan.
Yeah.
I got this other thing from openthebooks.com.
Yeah, I was going to say,
what kind
of
it's a bit obscure. I'm going to say it is a bit obscure on its own. Open the Books is an organization that, they file FOIA requests, and they're kind of one of these.
Watch.
Kinda, yeah, and they're a little bit more obscure, and they're obviously conservative leaning, but I believe what's going on is true. It does not carry the same, I don't know, what's the word for it? It doesn't carry the same characteristics as a full-on sort of bloggy disinfo thing.
Sure,
but
because they're actually doing things.
there's things actually happening. And you'll see, as I read it, it reads in a different way, which could be part of the PSYOP, but I thought I'd bring it to our attention in case some more legitimate sort of reporting gets done on it. Then we'll keep an eye out for it. So this is coming from openthebooks.com. The headline is Substack Investigation, which I love how forthright that is. You know, it's a Substack investigation. So I'm not trying to present this in any other light than a Substack investigation.
In some ways, though, Substack has become that sort of value for value-ish.
Oh, Substack as a platform is totally legit.
Yeah.
But like all platforms, you got to consider the source using the platform.
Right.
So I didn't get a chance to like fully dive into Open the Books. I've seen them before. Anyways, all that is to set this up. Okay. So there you go. But let's see what they got to say. Fauci's royalties and the $350 million royalty payment stream hidden by NIH. Last year, the National Institutes of Health, Anthony Fauci's employer, doled out $30 billion in government grants to roughly 56,000 recipients. That largesse of taxpayer money buys a lot of favor and clout within the scientific research and healthcare industries. However, in our breaking investigation, we found hundreds of millions of dollars in payments also flow the other way. These are royalty payments from third-party payers, think pharmaceutical companies, back to the NIH and individual NIH scientists. So now that is not unusual to hear. We know this. We know that scientists who work at the NIH get royalties for their work in, you know, the sort of big pharma thing, the system. Such is the case with, what's her name?
Kizzy.
The woman, Kizzy. Yeah, Dr. Kizzy, who's trying to secure her royalty payments for the COVID vaccine. Stuff like so we know this happens. This is in no way strange to hear. We estimate that between fiscal years 2010 and 2020, more than $350 million in royalties were paid by third parties to the agency and NIH scientists who are credited as co-inventors, like Kizzy. Because those payments enrich the agency and its scientists, each and every royalty payment could be a potential conflict of interest and needs disclosure. Okay, so this is a nice general statement about transparency of taxpayer dollars. Recently, our organization at openthebooks.com forced NIH to disclose over 22,100 royalty payments totaling nearly $134 million paid to the agency and nearly 1,700 NIH scientists. These payments occurred during the most recently available period, that's September 2009 through September 2014.
I love how that's the most recently available period is, 8 years ago is the limit.
Right, and you'll hear why. And this is why. The production is the result of our federal lawsuit versus NIH. The agency admits to holding 3,000 pages of line-by-line royalties since 2009. That's the NIH admitting that. So far, they've produced only 1,200 pages. The next 1,800 pages of production will cover the period 2015 to 2020. However, what NIH has produced to date gives us insight into the undisclosed royalty largesse. You know, they've used the word largesse twice, which is not suspicious, just not the greatest writing. That's okay. For example, only 900 scientists were estimated to be receiving royalties, so now we know the universe is much larger. Since the NIH documents are heavily redacted, we can only see how many payments each scientist received and separately the aggregate dollars per NIH agency. This is a gatekeeping at odds with the spirit and perhaps the letter of open record laws. We found agency leadership and top scientists at NIH receiving royalty payments. Well-known scientists receiving payments during the period included Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, and the highest paid federal bureaucrat received 23 royalty payments. Fauci's 2021 taxpayer-funded salary was $456,028, as we know. Then Francis Collins got some.
Hey, we got 2 out of the 3 amigos. It's a reunion.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then Clifford Lane, who is Fauci's deputy at NIAID, received 8 payments. So the long story short, it goes on and on, kind of just telling us kind of what we already know. There's nothing really surprising except for the redacted nature of the FOIA request, similar to the FDA releasing the Pfizer documents where, they wanted to take 75 years or whatever to give you the Pfizer vaccine documents. Similarly, on these royalty payment documents, they're extremely redacted, so we don't know how much money Anthony Fauci is receiving, basically from the pharmaceutical companies.
Whoa.
But also...
I'm sorry, I'm just reading ahead. I'm seeing how Fauci, in February 2021, received a $1 million prize from the Dan David Foundation in Israel for speaking truth to power during the Trump administration.
Right.
You get $1 million just for speaking truth to power.
Just
Fauci?
for being on TV.
Oh,
right.
Great.
So the whole research, or the whole, Substack is sort of laying out their research to the fact that, and we know this is how the FDA works, and now they're saying this is how the NIH works, which surprises nobody. But it's not so much that Fauci is receiving royalty payments that is surprising, because we know this because of Kizzy attempting to do the same thing. But it is the fact that the NIH is deliberately hiding not just the amount of these royalty payments, but also who's paying these royalty payments.
Yeah.
And it is the redactions that are the most suspicious parts of these documents. Because, of course, what they don't want us to see is that Anthony Fauci is earning millions of dollars from pharmaceutical companies like Pfizer and Moderna.
And his opinions, on the vaccines are based on probably how much money he's gotten from each company. Oh, Pfizer gave me more money.
Exactly.
That's why we're going to pump Pfizer. Moderna, you shouldn't use Moderna. You don't like that. Give me some more money and I'll say some good things. That's why we saw a lot of flip-flopping from Fauci, probably, right? It was all money-driven.
The time he would flip, and then a royalty payment would come in, and then he would flop.
What a swindler.
It's a beautiful business model for the old Fauchmeister. So none of this is surprising, but it was interesting to actually find the organization that was really digging into this. And so there you go. We're gonna keep an eye on this, and hopefully some these redactions can be clarified, because again, none of this is surprising. We've been talking about this exact thing for the whole 2 years, and of course, this is how the system works. We've known this, but to actually have the documents being recovered through Freedom of Information Act requests, is something. So. Do I think this will shatter the worldview, the paradigm from which that we, the narrative we are trying to be pulled out of paying attention to these things? No. But do I think that anybody will have to answer for this? No. Do I think it will change anything moving forward on how the system works? No. But it is nice that somebody is actually, you got like a dog with a bone. You've got somebody going after it, and we'll keep an eye on it.
It's fascinating that these they use the word sunshine here again. It was kind of it's been a theme recently of shining a light on the corruption, and there needs to be a lot more sunshine on this potentially unholy alliance.
Yeah.
And, Elon talked about the sunshine and the light, and, it's just, it's kind of interesting. There's all this exposing of the system.
And my solar batteries charging to 98% today for the first time since I've gone off the grid. Something with the sunshine's happening, buddy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we got one more thing here. And, oh boy, did I not set my jingle for this? Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
I guess I didn't. All right. Well, it's a Days of Noah story, as it were in the Days of Noah. And the headline here, it's from Yahoo News, mirroring the Telegraph, and the headline, Death Could Be Reversible as Scientists Bring Dead Eyes Back to Life. Wow, okay.
I did see Joe Rogan post this.
Oh, Joe Rogan posted it? Good.
That means he did it on his Instagram or something.
All right. Dead eyes from organ donors have been brought back to life it's brought back to life is in quotations, in a breakthrough which hints that brain death may be reversible. Scientists in the U.S. proved that photosensitive neuron cells in the retina can still respond to light and communicate with each other up to 5 hours after death, sending signals, quote, resembling those recorded from living subjects. That's all we are. We're just recording the world around us. Crucially, these neurons form part of the central nervous system, the CNS, which encompasses the brain and spinal cord, bringing the possibility that other cells in the CNS could be similarly restored, perhaps bringing back consciousness. Writing in the journal Nature, the author said that the study raises the question of whether brain death, as it is currently defined, is truly irreversible. Lead author, Dr. Fatima Abbas.
Oh, fun.
Do you know what today is, Basil? I think today is Fatima Day.
I think today is Fatima Day?
I think so.
I thought that was a couple weeks ago.
Oh, maybe. Hold on, let me double check.
Because we had a Fatima story.
Friday the 13th, our day, Lady Fatima. May 13th.
It is Fatima Day.
It is, yeah.
Wow.
It's
okay.
Today. So,
wow.
There
Interesting.
You go. There's another UFO connection to all this stuff, this advanced technology. Lead author, Dr. Fatima Abbas, like Abba, like father.
Interesting. Yeah, name, what? Right? Father of Fatima. On Fatima Day, Dr. Father of Fatima brought dead eyes back to life.
Of the Moran Eye Center at the University of Utah said, quote, we were able to wake up photoreceptor cells in the human macula, which is the part of the retina responsible for our central vision and our ability to see fine detail and color. In eyes obtained up to 5 hours after an organ donor's death, these cells responded to bright light, colored lights, and even very dim flashes of light. In 2019, Yale University restarted the brains of 32 decapitated pigs. They had to eat one.
Oh, so close.
They had to use one for the ritual, which had been slaughtered 4 hours earlier.
We reported on this.
I know. Switching on blood circulation and metabolism using a cocktail of chemicals. That's not creepy at all, if you don't remember. Yeah, the Yale University, the home of the Skull and Bones, trying to revive dead pigs, decapitated pigs.
Yeah, successfully reviving the brains of decapitated pigs.
But experts said the new research had gone one step further, restoring B waves, the slow rhythmic oscillations recorded in living brains. Dr. Franz Winberg, an assistant professor of ophthalmology
I think it's just ophthalmology.
Ophthalmology and visual science at the University of Utah said, quote, in Yale's case, coordinated population activity of neurons in pig brains could not be revived. In our case, we were able to revive population responses from photoreceptor cells even up to 5 hours after death in the human central retina, an important part of our central nervous system. We were able to make the retinal cells talk to each other the way they do in the living eye. Past studies have restored very limited electrical activity in organ donor eyes, but this has never been achieved in the macula, and never to the extent we have now demonstrated. Retina is part of our central nervous system, so we think similar things might be seen also in other parts of the brain. In early experiments, the team managed to revive the light-sensing cells, but struggled to get them to talk to each other. They soon realized a lack of oxygen was driving the silence, and so designed a special transportation unit that could restore oxygenation and other nutrients to eyes as soon as they were removed from the donor. The holder also includes electrodes, which can be connected to both sides of the retina to monitor electrical signals as well as light stimulus systems. The researchers are also hopeful the breakthrough will mean that eye experiments, which are currently conducted on primates, can now be carried out on living donor eyes, speeding up new therapies for sight loss and improving the understanding of neurodegenerative disease. Quote, the scientific community can now study human vision in ways that just aren't possible with laboratory animals, said Dr. Vinberg. And it goes on here, but I think we get the picture. Just the ethics of it all shifting around a little bit. And it would be very difficult and challenging in the past to just get dead people's, even donors, and just start trying different things to revive body parts. But apparently this is a completely normalized and legal and ethical procedure for, you got to treat neurodegenerative disease and all kinds of other stuff, right?
You just want people to be blind, don't you?
Hey, don't put that on me. I don't want people to be blind. I want them to see the light of Christ, not this light of the manufactured dead pigs, manufactured light from the scientists and Dr. Fatima, the father of Fatima.
Yeah, well, and Fatima being, the miracle at Fatima being a ball of light seen by crowds
spinning
of people.
Ball of light descending down and leaving burn marks and whatnot. Yeah, interesting.
And how Fatima Abba, Dr. Fatima Abba, whose name means father of Fatima, doing experiments that make eyes respond to light, not just light, but colored light too. There's some interest.
You're frozen, man. Are you gonna come back? He may not come back this time.
There we go.
There you're back.
I glitched out for a second. Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of eyeballs coming back to light, should we take a look at some art?
All right. Weird transition.
It's break time. Come on, take a break.
From dead eyeballs reviving to living eyeballs doing what they do. This is our second break, where we thank our producers who come in with their talent. Canary Cry News Talk is a podcast, but it's a place too. It's a community for therapeutic reflection of our troubling world, and we encourage those of you out there to process some of that through art, music, any kind of expressive medium. We like to share that with you all because, we like to process it as well, and I think all this art helps us do that. So,
good for you.
Yeah, it's good for you. So we're going to start off with some audio production.
Audio production.
Our first submission, I guess, comes from Psalm 40, who now has his own jingle, which I thought I had ready here. What happened to Psalm 40's jingle? Distraction jingle.
Stall for 5 seconds. Here we go.
Aha, here we go.
In this dark world, he can help you see. Just listen to Psalm 40.
There we go. Psalm 40.
Listen to Psalm 40.
There's a note. Howdy, fellas. Happy Friday. Jingles aren't exactly my forte, but I had to try and bring this vision to life. The full jingle is almost 30 seconds. I'll attach some shorter versions, but if any other producers want to use these ISOs for their own project, be my guest. Have a great weekend, and don't forget to tune in Monday. I have a hot new jaw-dropping. Jaw-dropping. Peace. Do you know what jaw-dropping means?
I have no idea.
Okay. Well, Psalm 40 sent us 3 different versions. They're all different lengths here.
Just do the long one.
Okay,
so that'll give us the idea.
Sure. Yeah. This is Prop Roost Full.
Well, come on. I'll say, come on, boy. I want the whole world to propaganda. Mouth like an outboard motor. I say, pay attention, boy. What you doing there, dog? Pay attention, son. This is for your own good.
It's like a short mind control track for the propaganda rooster.
It's got all kinds of crazy tips and turns and
MK Ultra propaganda programming rooster. What? Obey. Thank you, Psalm 40. Activate, and then he sent some shorter versions of the same thing.
Yep.
Thank you very much. That's fun.
40.
Propaganda rooster, man.
Yeah, it's a thing now apparently. Where is
Foghorn Leghorn? Actually, now that I think back, life is weird. Foghorn Leghorn was actually one of my favorite cartoon characters as a kid.
Oh man, they're all coming together. It's circling back.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, Psalm 40. We also got one from Arnie W. It wasn't much of an explanation. It was just the file here. So let's go ahead.
Okay.
We are not going.
It's the Elizabeth Warren.
Elizabeth Warren chant.
The Elizabeth Warren chant song. That's hilarious.
Kind of brought me back to some 90s, punk rock vibe along with.
That is so funny.
Elizabeth Warren chant is great.
Yeah, thank you very much, Arnie W.
Thank you, Arnie W. You can boost the volume on good old Pocahontas over
Elizabeth,
there.
yeah, right.
A little more. I know it's hard when the crowd comes in super loud, but that's when you gotta get creative with your mixing there. Thank you very much, Arnie W. Let's do some art.
One art, please.
And let's start with Dame Allie of the Skillet Nation.
One art, please. Another one from Allie now. Here it is.
And as usual, we have some content brought to you by Dame Allie and Ebony Blaze. And I'm just pulling up all the rest of the info here. Spider-Man was a bad dude. And the story that this piece is referencing is from MSN.com, mirroring We Got This Covered. And the headline is Marvel fans lose it after discovering forgotten Spider-Man villain named Joe Biden. It was written by Christian Bone, the author of this article, and some highlights from it. The Marvel fandom is having a ball on Twitter today after being reminded of the existence of a little-remembered comic book foe of Spider-Man called Spectrum. Spectrum's civilian identity just happens to be Joe Biden. Joe Biden, a.k.a. Spectrum, made 3 comic appearances back in 2010 during Biden's stint as Barack Obama's vice president, so clearly he was named as a nod to the politician. Confusingly, the real Biden has also turned up in a trio of Spider-Man issues, including one where Peter Parker travels to Italy to protect Obama and other world leaders from Dr. Octopus. So is Spectrum the real Biden's evil twin or something? Or is Spectrum the good one? Oh.
Spectrum is secretly a Spider-Man villain in comics.
Uh-oh, we lost you again.
Thing.
Hold on. Say that part again. Spectrum
Did I disappear?
You did, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, Spectrum in a Spider-Man comic book in 2010, which he was currently the vice president, was an evil villain called Spectrum. Joe Biden, a.k.a. Spectrum.
Yeah, it's great. So Allie's piece here
that is so bizarre.
Yeah, depicting Joe Biden here, very well done. and
very well done.
Dark eyes. The lizard.
The geography of his face is you could almost fall into those cracks. And you can tell he's a lizard person wearing a skin suit. It especially is evident in this portrait that Allie did, because you can see how deep his eyeballs are underneath the skin suit there.
Yeah.
It's really fantastic. Well done, Dame Allie.
Dame Allie, great job. It's getting more realistic as every time it goes by. It's
really incredible.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to turn into, like a live action animation thing. All of a sudden it's going to start moving.
Okay. Please, I hope not. That would scare me very much.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much, Dame Allie and Ebony Blaze. Appreciate it. Moving on here, we got Sir Dove, Knight of Rusbeltia. Sir Dove, Knight of Rusbeltia, where are you?
One art piece from Dove.
There he is. The headline here, or not the headline, the note here, peace. For today's show art, I did a poster of the old propaganda rooster, since he could no longer be ignored. Sir Salmons hit me up on Wednesday to borrow a logo for his piece, and I thought I'd use the slogan from the poster on mine. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for yins.
Yep, and here we go. We've got another propaganda rooster poster in the sort of communist-style propaganda posters. Crow for the show! Canary Cry News Talk, and we've got a different style of propaganda rooster standing bravely with his helmet with the star on it. You've got the robotic arm and hammer and sickle flag flying in the background, and a young blonde child there as the rooster watches intently. The child does have googly eyes and is playing with some blocks, and the blocks spell out sheesh. So you know that the Gen Zs are going to love it. Or maybe this child is Gen Z. That's what we have here. The propaganda rooster watching closely and carefully over Gen Z, googly-eyed Gen Z, as they play with some blocks. Thank you very much, Sir Dove. Poignant.
There's
and important.
There's a winking upside-down star on the belt.
Mm-hmm.
The musket being held by the rooster.
Musket?
Is it a musket, or what is it called here?
It's just a rifle. You're talking about the bayonet.
The bayonet, yeah.
There's a big sharp bayonet that the rooster got attached to his rifle there. Thank you very much, Sir Dove. I am loving the propaganda rooster content for sure.
Just naturally evolves. We don't plan for these things. They just happen.
It just happens, and it's all thanks to the artists. Yep. Thank you very much.
Bring it to life. All right, thank you very much, Sir Dove. We got one more here from Mark A. Good to see you, Mark A.
Yeah, he's back.
And there's a note. Shalom, boys. It's Cry Day the 13th. Hope yins like this one. Chi, 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 ha, 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 ha.
That was too many ha's, but yes. Chi, 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 ha, ha, ha. Do I know what it means?
There's
no,
four
not whatsoever.
And 4 ha's.
Right.
So you are wrong.
Yeah, I was doing, okay. And we have, it's sort of separated into cells, almost like a comic strip here. In the first cell, you were looking from the perspective of someone peeking through a bush onto sort of a countryside with a rooster, probably a propaganda rooster, screaming on a fence. And then we are inside the house, and the shower is running, and a hand reaches out to open up the shower curtain, and there's a man who, I think it's a murder. It's a Friday the 13th thing. Okay, Jason is in there to kill whoever's in the shower, and the shower curtain gets opened, and there is Basil the robotic arm, already prepared with a gun in the shower to protect himself from the murder. Maybe it's like a chi, 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 like like the murder sound.
Oh, yeah, the violins, the strings. Yeah. Okay, okay, exactly. Got it.
Yeah, so on Cry Day the 13th, somebody was coming in to the off-grid abode of Basil the robotic arm, who was lying in wait with a pistol in the shower. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's much easier to just sort of have a pistol in the shower when you're off-grid. I'll just say that much.
All right. Interesting.
Thank you very much, Mark A. Love it.
Thank you, Mark A. You don't want the gun to rust, though. Don't get it wet unless you.
Well, it depends. Glocks are mostly composite plastic.
Sure. Yeah, it depends on what you got.
Dunk those things in a puddle.
That's it for the art production. Thank you very much to all of you. We also have a couple microfiction.
Microfiction.
And our first piece comes from Wrong Smash.
As propaganda rooster crows incessantly about Big Mouse having control of the media, Monty meows lazily to him. These humans can't understand you. Meow. But I'll try telling him next time. Also, Papa doesn't like when you interrupt silly hat time. That's true. The Monties do consider podcast time as silly hat time.
Thank you very much. Huh?
Thank you very much, Runk Smash. Yeah, because the googly eyes and the VR helmet. Okay, we actually had a new fighter enter the ring in the world of the microfictions. An individual named MLC, our favorite Gen Xer, MLC. There's a quick note I thought maybe we might as well read since it's our first interaction. It says, Basil and Gonz, I have had a story weighing on my heart for several weeks now. I feel a microfiction would be the best way to let it out. I work 2 jobs, so I won't be sending these in every episode, but my goal will be to get one out every Friday if possible. I hope it's not too long, that everyone enjoys. It will be a bumpy ride. Okay. So everyone prepare yourself.
You ready?
And yes, hopefully, if it's coming out every Friday, remember, people got to remember the story from the previous Friday. So, all right, let's go. Oh, we have a song for it. Okay. I don't know where to begin. People say that the best place to start is where it all began. What if that beginning is further back than people think? Could technically go all the way back to the fall when we as a human species chose not to listen to the one rule God had. But let's see. Let's start in modern history to keep it more relevant. World War I was told to us that it was a war to end all wars. What a joke. It started as a family squabble. It was a precursor to other happenings. World War II was a trial run to the mother of all wars. And the other wars between then and now was fine-tuning. 2001 was a wake-up call to the world. Unfortunately, the world went back to sleep pretty fast. Then, Ukraine happened. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, MLC. I'm not sure where the fiction is in that microfiction. Well, but I appreciate the entry.
I'm picturing the thoughts of a reflecting man reflecting on the world in some kind of like robot bar. He's got like a drink and he looks a little disheveled, and
yeah, it's the opening scene.
It's the opening scene, so you don't know exactly what's going on yet, but you got the thoughts of a character here.
So far, it's a memoir. It's a factual historical memoir and not fiction. Well, thank you very much, MLC.
Yeah, thank you, MLC. We're excited to see where this all goes.
Indeed. Okay, let me read you a couple more reviews. That's right. Coming from Mitchell B25 from the United States. 5 stars. New bloop bloop bloop. News deconstruction dudes. I highly recommend Basil and Gonz, and I rely on this show for all the important news of the world. If you want to keep up with the Nephilim, Antarctica, and the New World Order creeps, technocracy news, Flippy the robot arm, and such, this is the best podcast in the metaverse. All caps. Keep it up, my dudes, and I'll be praying for you. Also, the value for value business model is fantastic. Support your small business people, avoid fake news, and network with amazing listeners just like you. Hey, sounds like Mitchell B25 gets it, man.
Gets it.
Thank you very much.
You, Mitchell B.
And I also stepped on my keyboard. And so there we go. Next up, we've got Melchizedek 777 from the United States. 5 stars, top tier, he says. Well thought out, nuanced, and researched news analysis. Excellent show. Thank you very much. 777. And thank you to everyone who left us reviews. And please consider leaving us a review. We need to get 5 reviews by next Friday. And I know that there are those of you who listen to me say this literally every episode, and it's stopped crossing your mind entirely to actually leave a review. And please, let this be your wake-up call. Go to Apple Podcasts, leave a review. It is where the majority of you are listening to this right now, and it just takes 2 minutes and really helps us out. So please leave us a rating and or a
Yeah, cutting out again.
Or do both.
Yeah, do both.
Yes, and if we get 5 or more by next Friday, you'll make me go, ooh, ooh. That's right. Okay, all done. And I will do the call out now so I don't have to do it at the end of the show. If you're a creative person, an artist, a musician, a writer, a whatever, create something for the show, send it in to CanaryCry.Radio@gmail.com, and we'd love to read it or show it or play it on the show as an exercise in, an exercise in coping with the world, but also an exercise in, creating the culture around here. Thank you very much.
Yes,
all right,
it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Whoa, you read my mind, bro.
China. Basil, it's not just the robot hive building stuff in China. They got other stuff going on. This is the dailycaller.com posting this.
Not the Daily Wire, not Ben Shapiro.
This is, Daily Caller being Tucker Carlson, I believe.
Previously Tucker Carlson.
Okay. Headline: Enormous sinkhole discovered with shocking interior.
Oh.
Scientists in China discovered a massive sinkhole in early May that has an entire forest inside of it.
Is this the Hollow Earth? Have we found another entrance?
I think so. The sinkhole is located in Lei County, an area in China's Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region. State-affiliated Xinhua reported. Known as a Tiankeng, or Heavenly Pit. It's called the Heavenly Pit. Yeah. It's roughly 630 feet deep, over 1,000 feet long, and almost 500 feet wide, Live Science reported Wednesday. So Live Science was the original source, it looks like. Quote, I wouldn't be surprised to know that there are species found in these caves that have never been reported or described by science until now, the expedition team leader Chen Lijin said, according to the outlet. There's a tweet there. It's got a picture, a video here. Should we watch the video? See what kind of thing we got going on? Okay.
Okay. All right.
We're watching. Yeah. Sure. Yes.
Oh, so peaceful. Guys walking through the forest, talking in Chinese.
Yeah.
More guys walking in the forest. It's a video of guys just walking in the forest for a minute.
Where's the
50
sinkhole?
seconds. You're not showing us a sinkhole. Maybe that forest is the sinkhole.
Chinese propaganda.
I think that's what they're showing us. This forest the man is walking through is inside the sinkhole.
Whoa.
Okay.
Weird. All right. Looks.
This next
normal.
word I would love to hear you try to say.
Speleologists. Did I get that right?
Close enough. Yeah.
Speleologists and spelunkers.
Speleologist. There's another L in there.
Speleologist. No, speleologist.
Speleologist.
No, speleologists.
Speleologist.
No. You're adding a no to it. You are.
No, I'm not. Speleologist.
No, speleologist. Look at the word. Speleologist. There's no logo in there, man. Speleologist. No, not lologist.
I'm losing my mind, man.
Yeah, something's wrong with your metaverse world there. You better talk to Zuck. Speleologists and spelunkers entered the sinkhole in early May, where they discovered the entrance to 3 caves and ancient trees that soared 130 feet high, Live Science continued. National Cave and Karst Research Institute Executive Director George Venny said that the discovery was, quote, cool news.
Cool news. Hey, cool news.
Hey, how come nobody's quoting us about cool news?
Speleologists.
The sinkhole is likely one of many in the region that contain well-preserved primitive forests, Xinhua reported. Quote, because of local differences in geology, climate, and other factors, the way karst appears at the surface can be dramatically different, Venny told Live Science. Quote, so in China, you have this incredibly visually spectacular karst with enormous sinkholes and giant cave entrances and so forth. In other parts of the world, you walk out on the karst and you really don't notice anything. Sinkholes might be quite subdued, only 1 meter or 2 in diameter. Cave entrances might be very small, so you have to squeeze your way into them.
But not in our sinkholes. China's got the best sinkholes.
The latest sinkhole is one of 30 discovered in the region, Live Science noted. Oh, I wonder what the 33rd one will be. Though the discovery was, according to Venny, not a surprise, the hole was a secluded home to various flora and fauna, Newsweek reported.
Is this where the next pandemic is going to start?
Either that or we have another petri dish where climate and, human industrialization has not bothered the ecosystem and we must preserve it. And, of course, China would have all the environmental preservation areas,
Yeah, they're going to save the world.
Yeah, they're here to, Xi's going to save the world with China and the military there. So, yeah, we got to make sure that, we got COVID and we got Hollow Earth. Entrances to the Hollow Earth.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a good place for them to sort of station their Hollow Earth military bases.
Yeah. Okay. We got one more here, and it's about space.
Space. Wanna go to space?
CBSNews.com headline, scientists grow plants in soil from the moon for first time in history. The first time in history. I love that this is what they're latching onto. For the first time in history. I know, it's very epic. For the first time in history, researchers have used soil from the moon to successfully grow plants, according to a study published Thursday in Communications Biology. NASA, which funded the research, said the discovery paves the way for the possibility of harvesting plants in habitats on the moon in the future.
What?
Quote, we wanted
harvesting plants and habitats so we're going to grow?
We're going to grow in the moon, on the moon.
On the moon, okay.
Yeah, it's going to be moon Farmville. Quote, we wanted to do this experiment because for years we were asking this question, would plants grow in lunar soil? One of the study's authors, Rob Furl, said in a statement Thursday, quote, the answer, it turns out, is yes. I want to know if they've... So we've wanted to do this experiment because we were asking the question, would plants grow in lunar soil? So has nobody else tried this before?
I was going to say, it does not seem like something that would be terribly difficult
it should say,
to do.
It should say, scientists try growing plants in soil from the moon for the first time in history. It sounds like they hadn't even tried it before. Researchers at the University of Florida received moon soil, also called lunar regolith, from NASA to conduct the experiment. Small samples of soil came from the Apollo 11, 12, and 17 missions to the moon. Using thimble-sized wells in plastic plates, researchers potted approximately a gram of lunar soil, moistened it with a nutrient solution, and added tail cress seeds. Tail cress seeds. Have you ever heard of this?
Mm-mm.
Sounds like a type of marijuana. A plant also known as marijuana. That's native to Eurasia. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. It says a plant.
All right. Party on the moon.
All right. Florida man grows marijuana in moon soil. A plant also known as Arabidopsis thaliana. That's native to Eurasia and Africa and easy to grow. I know another plant that's easy to grow. The researchers then put the trays into terrarium boxes and added nutrient solution daily. NASA said a control group used volcanic ash as soil. According to the study, the plants all germinated within 48 to 60 hours. Quote, "We were amazed," said Annalisa Paul, another one of the study's authors. "We did not predict that. That told us that the lunar soils didn't interrupt the hormones and signals involved in plant germination. But by the 6th day, the plants in lunar soil began to grow differently than the control group of tail cress. Researchers found that the lunar regolith plants grew slower and displayed stunted roots," NASA said. Quote, "Additionally, some had stunted leaves and sported reddish pigmentation. After 20 days, RNA sequencing of the plants revealed that those grown in lunar soil were under stress and reacted in ways the plant typically would in harsh environments," NASA said. Quote, "At the genetic level, the plants were pulling out the tools typically used to cope with stressors such as salt, metals, oxidative stress, so we can infer the plants perceive the lunar soil environment as stressful." The moon is stressful, guys.
I like the sort of personification of the anthropomorphization.
Stressed little guys, stressed little plants. The plants also reacted differently across lunar samples. The plants in the soil from Apollo 11 were not as robust as plants grown in the soil from the 2 other Apollo missions. The researchers pointed out that each mission collected soil from different areas on the moon. Nonetheless, NASA Administrator Bill Nelson said the research is key to understanding, quote, "how plants might overcome stressful conditions in food-scarce areas here on Earth." I don't think so, buddy. I don't think that's why you did this. I think you're saying that now, but I don't think you said that before. With NASA's upcoming robotic missions to the moon's south pole, scientists said they will continue to research lunar soil.
Oh, boy. Here we go. It's going to get pretty wild. I looked up tail cress. And this is according to gardenorganic.org.
Love it.
And it says here, tail cress is an erect annual, rarely biennial weed, native on cultivated ground, bare places, on banks, walls, rocks, and waysides throughout Britain.
There are so many things in there to make jokes about.
I know. And then there's the biology here. Tail cress flowers from April to May and again from September to October, although it may be found in flower throughout the year. Some populations require vernalization before flowering is initiated. Others do not. The flowers are automatically self-pollinated, but can be cross-pollinated. Plants
They're asexual. They're hermaphroditic.
Hermaphroditic. Plants have been known to produce seeds just 4 weeks after emergence. Seed pods contain an average of 33 seeds.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
No way.
Oh, yeah, baby. They're growing.
Oh, my gosh.
Growing the
Illuminati plants on the moon.
Illuminati weed on the moon.
Oh, my goodness. That's a good find.
hey, sometimes we don't plan for this. It just happens.
You got to seek it out, man. They hide it in plain sight.
They do. You just got to connect the dots. Yeah.
Fun. Okay. Well, I don't have much else to say about that, Gonz. I'm sort of losing my mind here.
I would hope. My request is that we spend less time trying to grow plants in moon dirt and more time distributing the responsibility of having more baby formula for little babies in America. That's my message, and I'm sticking to it.
I wonder if you can grow weed in baby formula.
I don't
know that that's a good point. To check out, Florida scientists and or Abbott Nutrition. Maybe that would get the supply chain going again.
Don't worry, we're going to get those weed plants for the 5 and unders. We just got to get FDA approved, which shouldn't be hard if we tell them that it's going to kill a bunch of babies.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning into this this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. We're going to be back on Monday, so be here. That's Monday, May 16th. And I want to thank everybody who banded together to keep this show going, producing this episode, starting with our executive producer. Ooh, I'm on the wrong document. Our executive producer, Billy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Billy.
Executive producer, Billy. Also, thank you to Jonathan F., Dame Lady Night, Little Wing, Michael G., Morv, Nicholas B., Sir Casey the Shield Knight, One Lousy Petunia, Sir Scott, Knight of Truth, Sir JC, Knight of the Techno Squatch, James M., Joshua M., Veronica D., Gail M., Runk Smash, Jackie U., and Sir James, Knight and Servant of the Lion of Judah. Thank you guys so much. And you, dear listener, you too can become a producer of the show. Everybody should be a producer at some point. And as long as everybody understands that truly independent media does not come easy, and nor will the system support it, it is up to the people who get value from independent media to come together, answer the call, and responsibly fund and produce the show. And you can become a producer by heading on over to patreon.com/ccnt, or even better, CanaryCryRadio.com/support.
CanaryCryRadio.com/support.
That's right. And we'll love to thank you next episode for making this episode happen. Next episode, this show, you get it. Come on now. I want to thank some other producers that produced the show with their time, including the Clippies.
Ah, yes. Sorry, you got me off guard.
Doing the same thing I always do, man.
Clippy on those videos. Thanks.
That's right. Our clip producers who manage and support and clip and work very hard to clip out the shows for the Canary Cry Clips channel. Go there now, folks. It is all caught up. There is so much good content on there. And share it. Share it with the world. You're going to love it. That's Canary Cry Clips on YouTube and Odyssey. Thank you to Emsworth and Faye Liverin for just being just real champions.
Yeah,
next up, I want to thank the timestampers.
Timestamps.
Timestamp. It's hard work. Timestamp.
Indeed. And thank you to Jade Bouncerson for time-stamping the Wednesday's show. The timestamps go so far across so much of our back-end stuff. It's very important. Thank you, Jade Bouncerson.
Thank you, Jade Bouncerson.
Head on over to CanaryCryMeetups.com.
Canary Cry Meetup.
Yeah, Canary Cry Meetups. It's good for you. Go check it out. Meeting up, fellowshipping, understanding that it's not just a podcast, it's a family, and you can meet up with members of that family over at CanaryCryMeetups.com. You'll see the Zoom meetup, which happens every third Saturday of the month, which will be not this Saturday, but the next one. You can get all the info for that over at CanaryCryMeetups.com. The Los Angeles infiltration of the Church of Skatan meetup is they are trying to set the date and time, and they want to get in contact with all the Los Angeles Canarians who might be interested in going. So send an email to ladybhats@yahoo.com. Lady B, the letter B, ladybeehats@yahoo.com. And join up, figure it out, get in contact, and help figure out the best time to do this. That's going to be very, very fun. I wish I could make it down to Los Angeles. I don't know when the next time would be, nor the next time I would want to go to California would be. But if you're already there, you should definitely email ladybeehats@yahoo.com to help figure that out. And Lady B Hats at yahoo.com created for me a replica of Jeff Bezos's space cowboy hat.
That's right.
Which I am telling you right now, I wear every day out here on the compound, off the grid. Yeah, on the compound, off the grid. It is now it's my daily wear. So thank you very much.
San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah, sorry, my brain is gone, man. San Antonio, Texas. They're doing another meetup. We also. Oh, it's June 4th. June 4th, San Antonio, Texas. And Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania on July 9th. All the contact is information. All the contact is information. And you can find all that information. All that is information is on CanaryCry.Meetups.com. We need to end the show. My brain is broken. I'll see you at the meetup. We've already done reviews, so we're not going to do that. Social media. I do have a shout out to do on social media. Hit that jingle, baby. Oh, you did. It was just very quiet. Go over to CanaryCry.Clips channel, pick a video, post it on your social media, and tag us, because this is very important, folks. We're going to be working on getting these clips floating around the people, getting it out to the people. And I want to give a big old shout out to okay, here's the thing, folks. I know that it might be tempting to make a very long thing, but it is difficult for me to tell people to follow you. Yeah, handle. Thank you. But thank you to @Allison92231477 for posting the clip of us talking about the New York Times article about them admitting that Trump was right about something. Is a world
down.
And Allison also tagged Tucker Carlson in this post.
Joe Rogan.
And Joe, no, who was it? I forget. She tagged a bunch of great people. I don't know. They're not going to watch it, but it is fun. It's fun to be tagged with all these people. I'll also give a shout out to @TheLightInThisOne for posting today's episode as well. Let's see. It was you and me, Gonz, tagged. Then it was the Chris Plant Show, @Tucker Carlson. It was Jay Dyer was on there too, and @Adam Curry. So those are all wonderful people to tag us with.
I guess it's a pretty good list.
Yeah, so that's Allison Cameron, @Allison92231477. Go follow her if you can. Okay, and post about us on your own. Other than that, just share the show, man. Just share it with people. Share it with the people you love. Share it with the people you hate. It's gonna help them. It's gonna help them through their journey of realizing that the mainstream media does not have their best interests in mind. And the more people that know that, the better the world will be. We truly consider that to be the truth. Now, some people want to share the show in new and exciting ways. They want to express themselves. They want to be unique. They don't want to share the show just like everybody else, and I totally understand. And here's what you're going to do. You're going to need to track down some baby formula. Go find some expired baby formula, though.
You don't want to go in the crosshairs of the FDA, man. You're asking people to do something illegal.
Well, I'm saying you don't want to. I don't want to take away the formula from a baby who might need some formula. So go find the formula that's expired that babies should not be eating. Okay, you can find it.
Who do you think you are? The FDA regulating people what they can and can't have?
Go find this baby formula. Get yourself a few Dixie cups. Fill up those Dixie cups. And here's the thing: go to a state in which it is legal for individual citizens to grow a plant that the government feels like they have the ability to regulate. So you find yourself in one of these locales that don't mind if you try growing weed and some baby formula. And here's what you're going to do. Go ahead, plant some weed, man. Look, it's just a plant. It's a plant that grows well in all sorts of environments. And we need to know if it's going to grow in baby formula. Go ahead. It should only take a couple weeks to get these little suckers going. And then once you do grow the weed in the baby formula, you're going to need to go to the news. In fact, go straight to CBS News and tell them your discovery. And they will cover this. They will wonder, why aren't real scientists doing this? Who are you? What is the point of this? I don't think you're allowed in the building. And please, why aren't you wearing any pants? And you'll say, I'm a scientist's, I don't know, assistant or something. Yeah, you just make it up. Whatever you want to do. But then you'll have your little samples there. And of course, you're in a place where it's legal to have your little sample. And they'll put you on the news and they'll say, okay, all right, why did you do this? This seems sort of in poor taste considering the lack of baby formula. And we really don't need to be encouraging people to use baby formula for anything other than formulating babies. And you say, I don't really know. I listened to this podcast and the host was kind of losing his mind at the end. And he told me to do this and I just did it. And they'll say, that's weird. This kind of seems like a waste of everybody's time. And you'll say, yeah, that's kind of the theme at the end of the show, what he does. And they'll say, okay, what show is this? And he'll say, the Joe Rogan Experience. and then nobody will listen to that show and they'll all come listen to our show. It's just one way of doing it. You don't got to do it that way. But
reverse not just reverse, like some mysterious psychology going on. Total misdirection psychology.
Is that what Kabbalah is? I'm still quite unsure.
I don't know.
But we like to call it rattling cages. If you need any more instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to him, you grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Gonz, any last words?
Have a fantastic weekend, everybody. I'm gonna go escape reality for a bit, and I hope that the Milwaukee Bucks take down the Boston Celtics, and the Golden State Warriors take out the Memphis Grizzlies. There you go. Somebody asked what my picks are tonight, so
I saw that they asked that hours ago.
Yeah,
and I
I'm
can't believe you remembered.
Yeah,
good job.
Let's go, Giannis.
Well, I'm gonna go sit in a folding chair out by my chickens and see what the propaganda rooster has to say. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
Yeah, do that.
Do. Don't not do. Do.
This is the way.
Feed him more. Give me a break. Feed him more.
We're all gonna die.
We will hunt you down and make you pay.
This is the United States of America, for God's sake.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
Can I tell you a sort of a twisted pleasure that I have?
It's okay. No.
Clearing out that lint trap. Clearing out that lint trap. Clearing out that lint trap. Clearing out that lint. Clearing out that lint trap. Clearing out that lint trap. Clearing out that lint trap.
It takes time. A lint catcher.
I love it, man.
Hey, you gotta clean this out. It's like, a lint catcher. It's a great reset. A lint catcher.
I love it, man.
Hey, you gotta clean this out. A lint catcher.
love it, man.
Yeah.
I love peeling off that big old lint trap, rolling it into a ball, peeling off that big old lint trap, just like throwing it in the trash, really. Should I be saving this?
No.
You could knit it into a scarf or something?
No.
Surely. It's very soft.
No.
This would make really good fire starter. You are a weird prepper. Hoarder. Like a weird guy, man. Weird prepper. Not normal, like a weird guy, man. Clearing out that lint trap.
No.
Clearing out that lint trap. Clearing out that lint trap. That lint trap. I know it's gross, folks.
A lint catcher.
I love it, man.
You gotta clean this out. It's like a lint catcher. It's a great reset. A lint catcher.
I love it, man.
You gotta clean this out. A lint catcher.
I love that.
Where does it work?
I am constantly having to remind myself, wear a pink shirt for the show. Constantly having to remind myself, save the dryer lint, use it as fire starter, knit a scarf, save the dryer lint.
Because of the great love our God has for us, because of his mercy and compassion, even when we were dead in our sins, he has made us alive in Christ. By his grace, we have been saved and risen up with Christ. This is not our own doing. It is a gift from God. We are his creation, fashioned through Christ for good works which he had prepared for us beforehand. Remember that we were once separated from Christ and strangers to his covenant, having no hope and without God in the world. But now, those who were lost have been brought near by the blood of Christ. He has brought us together and has broken down the wall of enmity. Because of this, we are no longer strangers, but fellow citizens of the household of God, which is built on the foundation of the prophets and the cornerstone of Christ Jesus. He gave us shepherds and teachers to build up the body of Christ, to attain spiritual maturity, that we may no longer be tossed to and fro by human craftiness and deceitful schemes. Rather, spreading the truth with love, we are to grow like the one who is the head of the body, that is, like Christ. Therefore, put aside falsehood and speak truth with your neighbor, for we are all members of one body. Give no opportunity to the adversary, and do not let vain words come from your mouths, but speak only what is good for strengthening those who hear. The Holy Spirit of God has sealed you for the day of redemption. Therefore, be kind and forgive one another, just as God, through Christ, has forgiven you. Become imitators of God, as beloved children among their Father. Take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them. Be strong in the Lord, and equip yourself with the full armor of God, that you may be able to withstand the schemes of the adversary. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, that you may withstand in the evil day. Fasten on the belt of truth, and secure the breastplate of righteousness. Bind your feet with the preparation which is given by the gospel. Always keep ready the shield of faith, with which you can suppress the evil one. Put on the helmet of salvation, and carry the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths!
Circle back, but I'll have to circle back. Circle back, but I'll have to circle back. Circle back, but I'll have to circle back. I'm happy to circle back. I'll have to just circle back with you. We can circle back on that one. Circle back with you. It's an interesting question, but we'll circle back.
CanaryCry.Radio.com/support